Ready? I'd like to call the September meeting of the Williamson County Commission to order. The first item on the agenda is the invocation and pledge. The invocation by Commissioner Brian Bethard and the pledge by Commissioner Tommy Little. Please stand.
Please join me in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day and for all your many blessings. Thank you for this time we have to come together and discuss the direction and the future of our county, a county that you have so richly blessed. We ask for your guidance tonight. Please impart your wisdom upon each of us and guide our hearts as we make the decisions that affect the residents of Williamson County. Thank you for our men and women in uniform, and thank you for our Sheriff's Department and the deputies who have volunteered their time here tonight. In all that we endeavor to do, thy will be done. We ask these things in your precious name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, we have roll call. If you push your present button and confirm. Matt?
Oh, well.
Or record the roll, Ms. Anderson. Thank you. If there's no objections, I'd like to move up the election for chairman, chairman pro tem, and also the county commission vacancy. Mr. Lantham has Chief Justice Connie Clark here to do his oath, and she has to leave at 7:30. So if there's no objections, we'll move those up. I see none. All right. Ms. Anderson, you want to take over?
I'll make Jeff.
Jeff?
It won't slide, will it?
No, I'll just.
Okay.
Do it.
We can do it at the podium.
Yeah.
You can do it
Go
at
to the podium. All right. The floor is now open for nominations for chairman for the, I'm sorry, excuse me.
Jack Walton.
Nomination for Jack Walton. Proper second. Are there any more nominations? I see none. Everyone in favor of Commissioner Jack Walton for chairman for the 2015-2016 year, approve, or excuse me, state aye. Aye. Opposed? All right.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Chairman Walton.
Thank you. Next we have thank you. Next we have Chairman Pro Tem, and I'll open the floor for motions for Chairman Pro Tem. Commissioner Little?
Nominate Luke Green.
Commissioner Green? Second. Got proper motion. Tom Bain, the second. Any other nominations? I see none. All in favor of Mr. Green signify by saying aye. 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 Opposed? And congratulations, Luke. Next we have filling the unexpired term of Commissioner Travis Hawkins for the 10th District County Commission seat. Nomination, Mr. Williams.
Yes, nominate David Landrum.
Proper motion, the second by Commissioner Smith. Any other nominations? I see none. All in favor of David Lantham signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And it's unanimous. Welcome aboard, David. David, if you'll come to the podium and, oh, there you are. And any family members.
This is embarrassing. Is it all right if we turn our backs on you all and
Sure.
face the audience for now? I don't usually like to do that.
Where do you want?
I want you to turn this way. Carla, you hold the Bible. And David, if you will put your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand. And all you have to do is repeat after me. I, David Landrum,
I, David Landrum,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will perform with fidelity
I will perform with fidelity
the duties of the office
the duties of office
to which I have been elected
to which I have been elected,
and which I am about to assume.
which I am about to assume.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
to support the constitutions
to support the Constitution
of Tennessee and the United States,
of Tennessee and the United States,
and to faithfully perform the duties
faithfully perform the duties
of the office of County Commissioner
of the office of County Commissioner
representing the 10th District
representing the 10th District
of Williamson County,
of
Tennessee.
Williamson County, Tennessee.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
There are 2 copies for you to sign.
Okay. Okay, where do I sign
You
here?
sign right here.
I already did that. It shows up there. His microphone is showing his name.
Would you like to say something, David?
I just did it on the roster.
Yeah.
Take your seat.
Welcome aboard. Take your seat. Next, we have the approval of the minutes of our July 13th, 2015 meeting, and copies were mailed to each commissioner. I'll entertain a motion. Commissioner Chalafant, Commissioner Kestner the second. Any additions or changes? I see none. All in favor as presented, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Next we have citizens communication, and I know I saw several people here in support of David Landrum. We appreciate that. We needed to move him up. So if everybody'd like to stand that was here to speak for him, you're welcome to do that.
Do they still want to speak?
Or, yeah, you can still speak if you'd like.
Right now, we have 14 signed up, so it'll be about 2 minutes.
2
and
minutes.
15
Okay.
seconds each.
Our rules allow 30 minutes for citizens communication, so we have 14 signed up, and so that'll give each person 2 minutes. I'll try to give you about 30 seconds left. If you'll come forward and state your name and your address for the record. The first one we have is Chuck Shelton.
Oh, my name is Chuck Shelton. I live at 312 Toddington Court, Franklin. And I'm here to speak on behalf of the nomination of Chris Kasaja for the school board seat in the 4th District. Thanks to you, County Commissioners, for letting me address you tonight. Thank you especially for my commissioners, Kathy Danner and Greg Lawrence, for their diligent and work in presenting to the County Commission their nominee for the 4th District for the school board seat in a transparent process. I'm a taxpayer and voter in the 4th District. I've lived there from 1995 to the present. I attend county commission meetings and school board meetings when I can. I want to mention to you a historical precedent. In 2007, Frank Homer was nominated for this appointment to the school board seat to fill a vacant seat, and he was nominated, and the county commission accepted that vote. He lasted for about 8 or 9 months until the next election. So, in historical precedent, the county commissioners for my district or for many other districts have presented a school board nominee to fill that place, and it's never been countermanded by the county commission as a whole. So I'm asking you to honor that historical precedent. Now, I understand the oversight responsibility of the county commission. If the nominee, Chris Kasaja, had some moral failing or some legal problem, I could understand your oversight in rejecting that nominee. But since I know of none, I ask you to accept the nomination of my representatives, Commissioner Danner and Commissioner Lawrence, and to nominate Chris Kasaja for the vacant school board seat in the 4th District. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Next, we have Gary Graham.
Good evening. I'm Gary Graham. I live at 2213 Oakwood Drive East, Franklin, Tennessee. And just this evening, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Williamson County has first-class sheriff's department, ambulance service, schools. Williamson County deserves a first-class full-time fire department. The new station on Goose Creek Bypass would be an excellent use as a model for the rest of the county. It's time that we quit kicking the can down the road and have a full-time fire department for a county of this size and wealth. I've been here before in the last couple of years, and it's sad when you see your neighbors' house burned down because it took almost 30 minutes for the fire department to get there. If we had a full-time fire department, the response team would be where the station was downtown to our subdivision would have been less than 10 minutes or less. Franklin has a beautiful fire department, and I think it's time, and the rest of the county deserves that. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Cheryl Wilson.
Chairman, Commissioners, and Mayor, thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. I haven't been here on this side, I don't think, since I left about a year ago. But I do want to tell you, I live at 1907 Green Hills Boulevard, Franklin, Tennessee. And I'm still very proud to be active in the county, have grandchildren that go to school in this county, and I have sons that have graduated from the school district. But I think I have found someone that would meet the demands and the needs for the 4th District. I know that I cannot appoint that person, but I can at least let you know what I think about this person and why I think Jane McGrath would be a perfect candidate for this nomination. And she has been a Kenrose PTO president. She is a teacher. She has children that are in the school system still. And she has the energy, the intelligence, and the forthrightness to follow through. She has been very active in all school activities. And having been that parent myself, and have also gone and done a lot of things, I do feel that Jane can be that person to represent the 4th District. Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl. Next, we have Jason Grant.
Thank you, Commissioners, for allowing me to speak. It's my first commission meeting, but it's due to a very, very important aspect of our community, which is our school system. I live in Oak Hall subdivision, 1626 Oak Hall Drive. As a disclaimer, I'm not affiliated with any special political party or parent group other than the Kenrose PTO. I speak only as a representative of my family. That's going to mean something in just a second. I'd like to start by reading to you an excerpt of an email that I sent separately to Jeff Ford and Paul Webb, my county commissioners, this past Labor Day. Jeff, Paul, I wanted to send you an email regarding the school board nominee for District 4. Our family has concern that a controversial selection may be this nominee. Since the public has no input into the formal selection process, I'm hopeful that the full commission would represent the best interest of the community as a whole and vote down a controversial nominee in favor of a more prudent choice. The school board already has had enough conflict, and the addition of someone with their own controversial agenda would just create further issues. I've attended the majority of the work sessions and school board meetings since August of last year when my now first grader began attending Kenrose as a kindergartner. I myself am a graduate of Brentwood High School and have a great sense of pride regarding the community and the people that make it what it is. That said, there are individuals within our community who do not welcome our students' exposure to other cultures, who do not recognize the fact that we exist in a globally competitive environment, and who wrap themselves so strongly in their beliefs that they do not care that their actions exclude and discriminate against others. I was not raised in this manner, and I'm not raising my children to behave in this manner. Our community has resources that other communities around the globe only dream about. We are one of the wealthiest, most educated, and peaceful communities in America. We have multinational companies that are relocating to Williamson County regularly. With these advantages, I find it disheartening that there is the potential that we would appoint someone to a position of the school board that would intentionally ostracize entire segments of our community because of political, religious, or bigoted agendas. That's what scares me as a parent. My first grader asked me the other day why I address many of my friends as brother, when, as she so intelligently pointed out, we are not biologically their kin. I asked her if she believed that we were all children of God. She responded that we were. What I told her, and what I believe with 100% of my being, is that if that is the case, then everyone is my brother or my sister. We are all family, and we're all in this together. I can only influence and persuade others to consider my belief. This community is mine and yours and our neighbors. I have no desire as a family other than to support and promote members of my family and to make sure that they feel welcome at all times.
30 seconds, Jason.
Yes, sir. You each have a vote on issues that directly affect our community. Tonight's issue is who will fill the vacancy in District 4. I have been in communication with both Ann McGraw and Chris Kasaja, and I believe that both candidates are suited to represent District 4 and the greater Williamson County community as board members. As you vote with this issue in mind and others in the future, I ask that you do it with our extended family in mind. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Jennifer.
Jennifer have a last name?
Jennifer, what's your last name?
Oh, I didn't put it on there? Hillman.
Hillman?
I like to be incognito.
Okay.
Yep. I just want to thank everyone for the opportunity to speak. My name is Jennifer Hillman. I live at 9035 Lockmere Court, and I'm here to speak on behalf of Jane McGrath, who is still a candidate for the 4th District School Board nomination. I have 2 children who attend Kenrose Elementary. I, with my husband, chose to live in this community, and I have to ask myself sometimes why. Why did I choose to live here, and what makes it so special? And I think it's people like you, people like me, good people who are working towards good outcomes for our community. When I think about Jane McGrath, I know that she's good people. She works tirelessly for the children in our school district, goes above and beyond the call of duty, leaning on her experience, of course, as a school teacher and a PTO president and a parent, but also stretching her own comfort zone and doing more than what's being asked of her, and certainly what we would expect of her. So good people driving for a good outcome. Jane's good people, and what's that good outcome? I think it's a good outcome that helps our children, helps our community, continues to position us as a place that people choose to live and enjoy living and enjoy their neighbors. I think it's a place where good people work towards good outcomes, not their own hidden agendas, not selfish goals, certainly not active social media. So with that in mind, I would absolutely recommend that you nominate Jane McGrath to hold the 4th District seat for the school board, because she has good people and she will work toward continued good outcomes for our community. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Next, we have Daniela Kuntz.
Dear Chairman, County Commissioners, and our Mayor Rogers Anderson, I'm Daniela Kuntz. I live at 132 Cavalry Drive in Franklin, Tennessee, and I wanted just to give you the good news. I have been working in trying to bring healthier indoor air quality in schools here in our county. When I saw certain procedures that were not performed in a way that would have ensured the safety of our students' health. And after 6 years now, I can say that more good things have happened. I wrote the bill in 2014, and it was passed by our legislators in Nashville. And now I also wrote 2 policies, which were just accepted also by the Williamson County School District for all the 41 schools in our county. And I wanted just to let you know that I'm very pleased, and I'm going to do some more things to make some more good changes into the schools and for indoor air quality and for our students and teachers. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Jane McGrath.
Good evening. My name is Jane McGrath. I live at 9036 Lockmere Court in Brentwood. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank each of you. I appreciate you taking the time out of your very busy schedules to meet with each and every one of us during this process. I have enjoyed meeting with each of you. I originally was not planning on speaking this evening, but I would like to clarify some misinformation that has been out there and has been posted on social media. I have not withdrawn my name. I am still very committed and very passionate about being the next District 4 school board representative. It has been an honor to serve the students and families of this great district and county, and I look forward to doing so in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Ralph Drury.
Well, I really don't need to be up here now that you have so nicely elected Mr. Landrum as one of your fellow commissioners. So I think you can count on him being like that bag in front of you, of being nice. So if he's not, Diane has my phone number. Get it from her and call me, because he lives next door to me. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Wayne Hall.
Mr. Chairman, Board of Commissioners, Wayne Hall from City of Fairview, 7159 Chessington Drive. I want to thank y'all for the confidence you've shown in David tonight. First off, I'd like to say he's been a friend for over 20 years. I know his passion for this county. I know you've got a great representative not only for the 10th district, but for every district in this county. Here again, David, congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you. We have Jim Cross.
Jim Cross, 2208 Crossway Drive, Franklin, Tennessee. I had a lot of great things written down to tell you about David Landrum, but you obviously have already recognized that, so I'm not going to say that other than to tell each and every one of you how thankful I am for the job that you do and the sacrifice and the time that you give to this county. I appreciate that. It's great to be here tonight and see a lot of old friends I hadn't seen in a long time. Thanks.
Thank you, Jim. Next, we have Garrett Cirilli. Thank you.
Good evening, Chairman, Commission, Mayor, and members of the public. My name is Garrett Cirilli. I live at 358 Watson View Drive in Franklin, Tennessee. That is in the 4th District, and I'm here to voice my support for Ann McGraw for this board seat. I'm a nonpartisan District 4 resident. I choose no party affiliation because I feel it helps me eliminate party bias from my decision making. Excuse me. I take voting responsibility very seriously, whether it's for a president or for a school board. But I don't always exercise my vote, and for that, shame on me. There are thousands of Williamson County residents, voters, just like me, who are beginning to take action and waking up due to unsavory headlines being made by some of our elected officials. I've been a Williamson County resident for about 25 years. I'm a product of this school system. My wife and I currently reside in the 4th District with our 2 young children. And as long as the school system remains elite in the state, and barring unforeseen events, our children will soon be in the school system. Tonight, each of you can help families like ours. Please help this county by rejecting the current nomination from the District 4 commissioners. Chris is a nice guy. I got to know him at a forum about a month ago. But unfortunately, I believe he's being used as a bit of a pawn in a political chess match. Please nominate and vote for an impartial, very qualified individual in Ann McGraw. Ms. Sturgeon, I saw your comments today on the forum. You might have been suggesting that Ms. McGraw's views lean liberal because of some comments she made about Megan Barry. And you questioned her as an apolitical applicant. But it is possible that Ann is just like me and a horde of other...
Direct your comments through the chair. So
Sorry?
don't direct them to me, not to an individual commissioner.
Okay, I was
Okay.
trying to scan
All
for
right.
everybody. It is possible that she's just like me and a horde of other individuals, not concerned with views that are deemed to be liberal or conservative, just wanting to do the right thing. This should not be about parties. This should not be about liberals or conservatives. This is about the school system. This is about our children. This should not be about appeasing special interest groups. The school board is not a training camp for those with higher government aspirations. And it's not to be used to advance political agendas. The commission can be as partisan as it wants to be.
Garrett, 30 seconds.
Yes, sir. But the school board, it's expected to be fair and non-partisan. So please stop the games. Please nominate and vote for Ms. McGraw tonight. You'll be doing the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Bridget Day.
Hello, Chairman and Commissioners. Thank you for your time. I appreciate your service to our county. My name is Bridget Day. I live at 1419 Lipscomb Drive. I live in District 6, but this nomination will affect us all. I've spent the last year going to most school board meetings, almost every work session, most policy meetings, and even Saturday morning retreats. I am a parent of 2 children in Williamson County Schools. I have been personal friends with Ann McGraw for many, many years. In addition to our friendship, we have also worked together on a very time-consuming project, and quite frankly, we knocked it out of the park. Ann possesses almost superhuman skills to manage her time, but never to the detriment of her family. She nurtures friendships with people of all ideologies and beliefs. And for that, she is a role model. Ann is and has always been dedicated to running again, with her sole focus on the children, hers, mine, everyone's. The time it takes a board member to learn the role should not be discounted. Let the voters of District 4 see the candidate they will get a chance to vote for in 1 year. I firmly believe Ann is the right person for this role. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Robbie Beal.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, I was here, my name is Robbie Bill, live at 1109 Claremont Drive in the 10th District. I was here, still am here in support of Mr. Landrum. Thank you for your nomination of him and thank you for your support of him. While I'm up here, thank you each and every one of you for the time you dedicate to this commission. It is no small task. It does not go unnoticed because of your leadership, and I do mean because of your leadership and your consensus on this board. We live in one of the greatest counties in the state, the greatest county in the state, and I appreciate your time and your service. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you. Next, we have Gary Kerrigan.
Thank you, Commissioners. I'm here as well in support of David Landrum, who's been my friend, he and Carla, for
Gary,
almost
what's your
30
address? If you'll state
I'm
your-
sorry,
That's all right.
1544 Kennard, Franklin.
Thank you.
Again, I'm in support of David Landrum, who's my friend for almost 30 years. And Carla was only 9 when I met him. Get that right. But thank each of you for what you do for our county and what you've made it. And I think that David will be a great asset. He's run a small business. He's made payrolls. He knows what it's like to be associated with you folks. So thank you for that.
Thank you. This concludes citizens' communication. So we'll move on to communications and messages. I'd like to thank Sheriff Deputy Whitley, Detective Ronnie Parker, Deputy Sloan, Deputy Rutledge, and Vice Sheriff Dusty Rhodes for being here. And thank y'all for, and also I saw the sheriff back there too. So thank y'all for being here. Next we have a proclamation. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I need, if possible, the 3 principals from Page High School, Mr. Pantal from Hillsboro, Ms. Justice, and from Hunters Bend, Mr. Walker. They'll be receiving the proclamation tonight. So if you would allow me to read the proclamation and into the records. It's joining the Williamson County School System proclaiming September 2015 as Be Nice Month in Williamson County. Williamson County has a tradition of Southern hospitality and gracious and values the culture of kindness that was born out of the Be Nice movement created by the Fairview High School students and staff and adopted by all of the Williamson County schools and the staff. Williamson County can serve to be an example of what other counties can aspire to be through individuals simply being nice, doing good, and giving where there is a need. And our county and its citizens, businesses, and public servants continue their efforts at being kind and encouraging, have joined together to promote a campaign of niceness that celebrates and strengthens the spirit of Williamson County and all those who live and work and play here. It is therefore I resolved as the mayor here in Williamson County that Be Nice Month is September here in Williamson County. Congratulations to each and every.
Mayor, you might as well stay up here.
Chairman, I'm shocked that Mr. Pantal has grown up right before his eyes. I remember his daddy coaching him and me, so he's growing up to be a fine example for all of us here in our county. So if, many of you know that Nina has been out with some health issues, and so I'd like to call upon her second in command, Phoebe Riley. Phoebe, and she'll give you the overview, the financial picture for the last 30 to 60 days. Phoebe?
Good evening, Chairman, Commissioners. Tonight, as you can find in your packet, I'd like to present both the month-end reports for both of June and July. This would be June 30, 2015. The month-end report was presented to you in the July meeting. However, we did not have the school's finalized numbers. As you can see, the schools also ended the year in a very positive financial position, with both general purpose schools and extended school program revenues exceeding those projected. You will also find the July month-end report. So far for the total month of July, we have total, including the schools, received 12 million, 12.2 to be exact. I'd also like to find in your packet, this is a detailed budget summary. Again, this is something I believe you saw in July. This is for the estimated beginning fund balance of July 1, 2015. Again, this is being presented again to include the final numbers for the school and their end of the year position. For the month of July, you will find your privilege tax report and its corresponding chart. For the month of July, we collected a little over 1.5 million, or a little under. Exactly, it was $1,491,989 and a few change. As you can see on your chart for the year, for adequate school facilities, we have an increase this year for July collections. This is an increase over the last 2 years, if you would look at the corresponding years for July. So we are starting the year off to a positive note. Other reports you will find in your packet next are the Marriott reports. This is for the Cool Springs Conference Center for both the months of June and July. For the month of June, we did end on a positive note, receiving a positive cash flow of $80,638. However, in July, unfortunately, we did have to return a few funds. The conference center did receive a loss, and the county did return back to the conference center $17,511.50. If you take a look, please, at your Cool Springs Conference Center profit loss for the fiscal year, you will also find this in your packet. Unfortunately, and my apologies, there is a typo, if you will notice. We did receive, if you'll see, the $17,511 is showing down in the column on the far right as May. This actually should be, of course, July's numbers. However, you can see this is a positive increase over last year. Last year, at this point, we were in the loss. I believe in the end of June and July, we also, previous years, received a loss for the conference center. But this year, we have $63,126 to the good if you net the 2 months together, which is a positive for the county and the conference center, and we are optimistic that will continue. The last thing I have for you this evening is a letter from the State of Tennessee Comptroller of Treasury. I would ask that this please be included in the minutes for this evening. This letter constitutes approval for the issuance of tax and revenue anticipation notes for the fiscal year of 2016. This does include my reports for the evening. Is there any questions?
Any questions? I see none. Thank you, Phoebe.
Right. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if I could, I'd like to bring up Chad Gray. He's got a period this month as a period that he would like to read out to you and give you some facts and figures. Many of you know Chad. He's in charge of all the elections here in Williamson County. I'll be back up when he finishes.
All right. Hello, Chad.
Mr. Chairman, members of the County Commission, I'm here as Administrator of Elections to promote September as National Voter Registration Month, and the National Associations of Secretaries of State has declared Tuesday, September 22nd as National Voter Registration Day. Since November of 2014, the general election in that year, we've had 6,604 newly registered voters in our county. That currently brings our total up to 136,067 registered voters for Williamson County. And the 2016 election cycle is right around the corner, so I certainly urge everyone to register in a timely manner. in order to participate in the electoral process, and it's your voice and your vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, and my final comment will be directed toward the Director of Schools, Dr. Mike Looney. And many of you may have seen or seen it in the paper that our own Dr. Looney was chosen Superintendent of the Year here in the state of Tennessee, and so I offer him my congratulations for a job well done and throughout our county. It's an awesome award to receive. So with that being in mind, I'll answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for the mayor? I see none. Thank you. Next we have school report. Jason Golden.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. I am standing in for Dr. Looney, who is at his annual superintendent's meeting, where last night he received the award for State Superintendent of the Year, which is very exciting for the school district. I know you have a heavy docket, so I'm going to keep this short. The school system is quite busy. We've been in school just a little over a month. Our month-end enrollment number was 36,068 K through 12 students, which is 205 students over our projection for the year. We look to be growing kind of on average of about 2 or 3 students a day. You know, we might have 1 student one day and 6 the next, but we continue to grow. We expect that growth to continue for the foreseeable future. I did want to let you know that we have a Be Nice Community Summit that's being conducted jointly with Franklin Special School District and STARS, which is Students Taking the Right Stand. It's a program with which we work with in the schools. It is 6:30 to 8 p.m. at St. Philip's Catholic Church tomorrow. Wanted to let you guys know that. Also, I wanted to thank you for the funding for the capital that you have funded over the last few months. More specifically, the annual capital funding that you funded. We've been able to greatly increase our number of computers to try to prepare for TN Ready, which is the new standardized test that we're going to be facing in the upcoming year that has to be taken online, at least here in Williamson County. So with that, I'm here for any questions if I can answer them.
Any questions for Mr. Golden? I see none. Thank you, Jason. Any other reports? Standing committees? I see none. Moving on to elections and appointments. We have Water and Wastewater Authority Industry Representative, deceased John Hancock, nomination Mike Delvisis. Mr. Ford. Commissioner Hester, the second. Any other nominations? I see none. All in favor of Mike Delvisis signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And he is confirmed. I'm going to read them in the record. They have to be voted on. Okay. Next, we have the Budget Committee. We have Tommy Little, Chairman, Betsy Hester, David Pear, Steve Smith, and Rogers Anderson. I'll entertain a motion. Mr. Green, who was my second? Milliken, okay. All in favor of the Budget Committee signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Next, we have the Purchasing and Insurance Committee. Brian Bethard, Sherry Clark, Paul Webb, Matt Williams, and Rogers Anderson. I'll entertain a motion. Commissioner Aldersbrooks and Commissioner Chalfant was the second. All in favor of the purchase? Oh, Commissioner Bain, I'm sorry. All in favor of Purchasing and Insurance Committee signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? We'll skip down. We've already done the County Commissioner 10th District. Now we have School Board District, 4th District. Resigned Paul Bartholomew. I'll call on Commissioner, and this school board person will serve until the next general election, August 4th, 2016. I'll call on Commissioner Danner and Lawrence.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I think I'd like to say something. I think Commissioner Lawrence would like to go after me. I'd like to thank all the commissioners and all the applicants for their patience. This has been a very long and difficult process. I don't wish this on any of my fellow commissioners. I'd also like to, all of the applicants had a heart for kids, a passion for education, and a pride in Williamson County. And I truly encourage each and every one of them to run for the position. I want to just say I've said most of what I would like to say on the public commissioner forum, and so I'm not going to reread all of that. If you don't know where that is, it's on the county website, and it's underneath government and underneath the county commission. Some things that I would like to add to that, though, that I think really set Chris apart and why I'm choosing him tonight. He is a very accomplished engineer, and for a school district that is in the business of building schools, he is the guy. He has a long and successful history of complex problem solving. Again, for a district facing growth challenges, he's the guy. He loves data and is an expert analyst. Again, in a district that is in the business of benchmarking and trying to become the best, he's the guy. I think the county commission, we have all of the applicants wanted to build bridges between people and focus on the issues and not on personality differences. I know the county commission can do the same. We may not always agree on issues, but we always seem to respect the fact that we were all chosen by the voters in our very individual districts. This appointment is for the 4th district, and we know our district. This is our nominee. Greg and I are not at odds with different nominees. We are together on this decision, and we ask for your support. Thank you.
So officially, you're nominating.
We're nominating Christopher Kajaja.
Okay, thank you.
You need help with the spelling on that? You have it.
I've got it close enough.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I just want to say a few words about Chris. I sent you all of you his resume. And one of the things that really stands out when you look at his resume is the incredible leadership experience and skills that Chris has. From a very young age, he was president of his high school class. He's held leadership positions with several major U.S. corporations, including Michelin and Caterpillar. He's a black belt Six Sigma. If you're not familiar with that, it's a process that includes objective decision making and solving complex problem solving, as Commissioner Danner said, used by most major U.S. corporations. When Chris was at Caterpillar, he developed a platform that's named after him. It's called the Kajaja curve. And you can't say that 3 times real fast, but you could try. But this is a process. He went into their database, which has over 1 billion bits of data, and he compressed all of it down in about a space of about 3 months. And for any of you that work with data, you know that's an incredible feat. So if you're asking who the smartest guy in the room is tonight, it's a pretty good bet that it's Christopher Kajaja. I wanted to just read a few comments because there was a public forum that was held in the 4th District. And I wanted to read a few comments from this. I sent this out also, one of them, out to all of you, because I wanted to read this for the record, and so the community will know what we saw and what the community saw at this forum. This is a letter that was written by one of the organizers of the forum, and she said, "In my opinion, one candidate stood out from the rest and provided a solution to the dilemma that we have in replacing our school board member. Chris Kajaja impressed me with his incredible intelligence, experience, and professionalism. He clearly spelled out his interest in serving our district and bringing healing and calm to a group that has been plagued by drama and contentiousness. His track record in business, as well as his personal charm, humor, and solid reputation suggest that he would be an outstanding representative for the District 4 on the Williamson County School Board. I believe that he could easily hit the ground running. I think it would be foolish to dismiss the caliber of this individual willing to share his talents." A friend of mine attended this same forum that I've gone to church with for a number of years, and he says this: Hands down, Christopher offers the most. I observed Chris compartmentalize questions and answer thoroughly yet succinctly. Even though he was the last to answer a question, he still had points and ideas that the other four did not mention. He had a very clear understanding of the role. He appeared structured and experienced at keeping conversations on point, skilled at bringing others into the fold, and demonstrated real leadership qualities. And that's the word that kept coming up. When I talked to some of Christopher's references of people he's worked with in the past, the word is leadership, leadership, leadership. And the question I have for all of you tonight is, if you are going to make an appointment for a school board position, do you want to get the best leader you can find? If the answer to that question is yes, then there's only one choice for the 4th District, and that's Christopher Kajaja. If I could put it another way, if there's a forum in your district and the consensus of the attendees that there is one guy who has clear degrees of separation, who will you pick? If it's not that guy, your constituents are probably going to come out and say, why didn't you pick him? Do we have a right in the 4th District to get the best leader that we can find sitting in our seat? We're going to have potentially contentious rezoning issues coming up in the 4th District. Rezoning, as you all know, is a complex problem. This young man has a long track record of complex problem-solving skills. And if you're going through rezoning, who do you want sitting in the chair? Christopher Kajaga is the guy that I want sitting in that chair when we're going through rezoning for the 4th District. Chris can bring healing to the school board, but not only that, I believe that he can bring a new dynamic that can lead the school board in a completely new and positive direction. I think the school board is going to love this young man. I know the 4th District will love this young man. And we're very fortunate that a man like Chris wants to be on this board. Good leaders are hard to find. And when you find one with this type of background, that's especially hard. And when you do, and he's willing to offer you his services, you don't pass it up. And that's why Christopher is our nominee, and that's why we ask you to vote for his acceptance.
Thank you. Any other nominees? Commissioner Pear?
I'd like to nominate Ann McGraw.
Proper motion. Is there a second? Second. Commissioner Chalfant, second. Any other nominees? Commissioner Milliken?
I'd like to nominate Jay McGrath, please.
Proper motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Herbert, the second. All right. Any other nominees? I see none. All right. So the nominations are closed. We have 3 nominees, and for someone to be elected, they need to get a simple majority, which is 13 votes. If no one gets 13 votes, we try it 3 times. And if we don't elect somebody after the 3rd time, then the 3rd time,
Anyone receiving less than 4 votes or less is dropped.
anyone receiving 4 votes or less is dropped. So, we clear on that? And I guess we'll do this voice vote, so we have to raise your hand and.
Do a roll call.
Roll call vote, okay. How do we do that? All in favor of Chris?
No, he will call each person's name.
Oh.
And they will announce
Oh,
who they're
oh,
voting.
okay, okay.
Do you want her to? Ready?
Yeah.
Just wait on you.
Yeah, I'm ready. Go ahead.
Ready?
Osbrook.
I have a question
All right.
for him.
Commissioner Kestner?
Yeah, good evening. If I can just have a couple minutes here, Mr. Chairman. I think we all know what it's like to be on the receiving end of a well-organized, well-executed campaign. And this one came to you compliments of a small local liberal group called Williamson Strong, and they targeted mostly people who live outside District 4. There are only 2 people in this room who were elected to represent the 15,000 voters in the 4th District, and that's Commissioners Danner and Lawrence. And they're responsible for knowing the wishes of their constituents. Everybody else in this room represents either themselves or people from another district, other than the mayor, and I'm sure he's happy to not be voting on this. Some observers may think this tradition of respecting the district commissioner's nomination may view this as being archaic or myopic or ridiculous or whatever. But really, this is the only available process that respects our democratic processes and system. It's the only one. And to not follow their nomination strips all representation away from 15,000 people in the 4th District. And I think that's fundamentally wrong. Interestingly, the departing Williamson County School Board member Paul Bartholomew also recommended following their recommendation, their nomination. And I would also add that whoever the successful nominee is, they're only going to serve 11 months. Then they're going to have to sit for re-election. They're only going to be 1 vote out of 12 board members. To only be able to affect the board if they can convince 6 other board members to agree to take any action whatsoever. And I've heard a claim that I take extreme offense at, and that is that 1 board member can destroy or devastate our schools. I think that is ridiculous. They cannot. We have an excellent school system. We have excellent parents. We are resilient. By the way, good parents come before good schools. Good parents create good schools, not government. It's good parents. Lastly, I want to say that if you look at Douglas County, Colorado, a similar organization named Strong Schools Coalition created a lot of mayhem in this same email bombardment fashion when conservatives began to be elected to the school board. And this mayhem was intentional, it was divisive, and it created an awful lot of ill will that is lasting in Douglas County. And I'm very sad to see this same playbook executed here by what seems to be a similar organization that seems to treat parents as pawns. Absent a glaring conflict of interest that, by the way, I do not see with Chris, I will vote to support their nomination. Our job as a commission is simply to confirm a reasonable candidate properly nominated by the 4th District Commissioners. And voting otherwise effectively strips 15,000 people living in that district of representation. This is their school board seat. It is no one else's. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Commissioner Hester?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, fellow commissioners. There is not one commissioner in this room who would agree with everything that I feel about District 2, not even Commissioner Herbert. I believe as a county commission, we should agree to disagree in certain situations. I'm very concerned about who will run in the next year's election. I'm very concerned about the learning curve that is involved in this job on the Board of Education, and I am very concerned about some people who have very, very incredibly busy but productive corporate lives. I would like to say that I believe that we have parents who have worked very diligently in the schools and have given sacrificially of their time because they have time to do it. And on that situation, I think that the county commissioners realize that there is one of the candidates who is in that position. Thank you.
Mr. Clark?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to concur with Commissioner Kestner in that representation is essential for my decision to go along with the 4th District's nomination. It is they who have their finger on the pulse of their constituents, and there is nothing in the vetting process of Chris that would compel me to vote against their nomination. So I'll be voting for Mr. Chris.
All right. Okay. Oh, Commissioner Ryan?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll keep my comments brief, but before I address the item at hand, I would like to welcome Commissioner Landrum to his first meeting. I do baptism by fire, absolutely. But I will say that nomination went very well. For a seat within this own body, there was absolutely no discussion. What concerns me greatly right now is the level of special interest that's going on within this community. I will second Commissioner Kestner's comments, and quite frankly, I don't think I could say it any better than what he did. I will be voting with the Commission's tradition, this body's tradition, and I appreciate all the work with that Commissioner Danner and Commissioner Lawrence have gone through. I appreciate, quite frankly, all of the applicants who put themselves forward. This was an exceedingly painful process, and for anyone who is willing to step up to the plate for that kind of criticism and scrutiny, we appreciate your service, however it may come out. And whether I agree or disagree with Commissioner Danner and Lawrence, I do believe in the bottom of my heart that they do know their district far better than I ever could hope to. And so I'll be voting with Commissioner Danner and Lawrence. And again, thank you for your work. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Herbert?
I would just like to make a request for all three nominees to be able to speak a moment to each of us, because I haven't met all of them.
Okay. Anybody got a problem with that? Commissioner Milliken?
If you'd like, I could save my comments for after they speak, or we could do my comments now and then let them speak later. That's fine.
Your call.
Let them speak.
Okay. All right. Is Chris Kasaja here?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Commission. I know most of you haven't had a chance to meet me yet, so there's a few things we need to go through. One, I come with no affiliations. I am apolitical. I've not been involved in this process at all. I'm not a part of any associations or any other groups. My views are my own. So I try to bring what I think is the best thing for this school board. And it was because of my wife and her involvement with the PTO that we saw a problem with the school board, and we were incredibly invested in this school district. And my investment in the school district goes 13 years until my 5-year-old graduates, hopefully from Page High School at that point still, if we don't get redistricted, but rezoned. But and that's why we want to be part of it. No, but I'm very, very much committed to what we need to do here. And when I look at the divisiveness on the school board, I look at my own corporate background and what I can bring to the table with no encumbrances with preconceived notions. I don't know a lot about what the school board needs or what each issue is going to bring, but I know the people that do, and a lot of that is going to come from the principals. And that's why I'm going to look at a lot of people in the district as I go out to them and try to seek input and use kind of my process background to figure out how to solve problems and resolve issues. I'm interested in talking to everybody, and I know there's a lot of concern about, well, you know, there's a picture here, a picture there. I'm going to talk to everyone. I talk to people that I don't agree with at all, but I always value that input because that input makes every idea better. Even if you disagree with someone, that still makes your idea better. So it's important to go out, review that, and put that together when you're looking at every angle of a situation. That's how you get the best ideas, and that's how you bring everyone into the process. So I have no other goal than taking care of my 3 kids and ensuring that they get the same great education that thousands before them have in this district, and that's why I threw my name in. Now, a lot have asked about the term and will I run again. I wouldn't be just if I told you that yes, I can run, no problem, because I just don't know yet. What I know is that I can handle this year. I know I can fit this into the schedule, and I know based on what the miracles that my wife performs every day and night that we can make this work, and I can make an impact on the school district. But I don't know yet if I can do that moving forward. A lot of people have come up to me, supporters, and said, we would like for you to consider running. And I know that's a big issue with you, and I can't commit to that right now, but I will commit to is when we get to that point in time, I will assess it. If it's overwhelming and people really, really like what I'm doing, I'd be willing to look at it, but I cannot commit to that today based on what I see in front of me. So what I'm trying to offer is just calm and rational positioning in the school board until we can get to that point. So I appreciate the opportunity to talk tonight. Thank you for making the motion to allow us to speak to the board or the commission, as I've not had a chance to talk to most of you, but I would appreciate your support and look forward to helping out with Williamson County and serving. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we have Ann McGraw.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and members of the commission and the public. I appreciate this time since I, too, haven't gotten to meet in person with everyone, so I appreciate you listening. My name is Ann McGraw, and my family moved to Williamson County just over 3 years ago from Nashville. I'm married and have 2 young daughters, Cora and Greta, and I'm a senior manager in the Global Digital Marketing Group at Nissan right here in Franklin. Like many Williamson County residents, we moved here because of the high-quality public school system. We've been thrilled with our experience to date at Trinity Elementary, which I'm going to brag is one of the 3 National Blue Ribbon awarded schools in our county last year, and you just can't do any better than that. My family has made a long-term investment in this community. My daughters are in kindergarten and 2nd grade, which means we have 13 more years vested interest in our public schools here and their success. I want to briefly explain what you can expect to me if appointed to the Williamson County School Board tonight. Every decision and every vote that I make will be individually considered and based on what is best for Williamson County School students, teachers and staff, and the taxpayers as a whole. I have no other agenda and no affiliations other than being a parent and the success of our Williamson County school students. I'm going to at all times hopefully strive to build consensus among the other board members. It's a personal strength of mine. Building consensus among groups that don't necessarily see eye to eye. I do it every day in my job, and this is just a different kind of job. I'll approach every discussion with an open mind and consider both sides of an issue. However, I will not hesitate to voice very respectful opposition when I believe we are, as a group, headed down an unproductive and possibly misguided path. I'll recognize the occasions when compromise must be made in order for the board to maintain forward progress, and I'll keep an ever-present eye towards the greater good, both present and future, of the WCS population as a whole. There are a few areas I'll focus on, but I'm going to kind of skip through them because I don't want to take up your time, but one of them is certainly the long-term growth strategy, first and foremost, and I want that to be front and center of everything that we're doing and not be distracted from the things that will affect every family in this county for the next decade and beyond. I want you to know a little bit about me, very briefly. Just know that I joined my company, a very large international organization, and I was promoted 2 times in back-to-back years. To say this is not commonplace in our organization is a vast understatement. But it happened because leadership recognized that I'm able to identify areas for improvement and enact process and change efficiently and effectively while motivating and mobilizing a very diverse group of people with different interests to work together to make big, meaningful things happen as a unit. It's my strength, and I get paid to do it, and I love it, and I'm looking forward to doing that in a service capacity for my community. The past 2 months have been a humbling and incredibly educational experience for me. It's the best social studies lesson I've ever had, for sure. I've already met with principals, central senior staff members, and countless District 4 parents in order to proactively educate myself and be ready to be a productive member of the board from day one. This is a long-term path for me, not a short one, and I don't want to waste a single day if given the opportunity. I do want to thank all of you that have given your time to me. I know how precious your time is, and I appreciate it truly, and hearing your own personal perspectives about what our board means and how much it matters in our county. I want to reiterate that I understand the commitment involved with this position, and I do not undertake this lightly, especially with 2 young children. And that should tell you how important I feel this is to my family and all the other families in this county. What I've learned to date has me absolutely convinced beyond a shadow of a doubt that I'm the right person with the right skills, temperament, and intentions for this job. I was the first one to submit my name for this position, and I'm in this for the long haul. On behalf of my family, thank you, commissioners, for all the unsung work that I now fully understand, I think, that you do every day to serve the residents of Williamson County. I know it's not often acknowledged or appreciated, but I get it now, and I thank you each for what you're doing. And as a parent, and especially as a mother, thank you for considering what's best for the future of our school system with your vote this evening. I'm asking you to place your vote for me in the interest of what is best for our greatest asset, our public schools. Our board desperately needs a current student mother's voice. We don't have that right now, and it's borderline criminal. And tonight is your chance to make that happen on behalf of all of our children. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, we have Jane McGrath.
Good evening once again. I'm Jane McGrath, and my unique experience, I am definitely shorter. My unique experience of being a former special education teacher, current parent of 2 Williamson County School students who currently attend Kenrose Elementary in 5th grade and 7th grade at Woodland Middle School, as well as being a knowledgeable and passionate volunteer, will allow me to make decisions that are in the best interest of the students and the district. As a teacher, I have taught students as young as pre-K on up to seniors in high school. As a former PTO president, I managed a 13-member board, a significantly large budget, and all of the paperwork and other responsibilities that come along with being a PTO president. It was during this time that I began to gain much of my knowledge about how things work in the central office of Williamson County Schools. Currently, I'm a member of the countywide Bullying Prevention Committee. As Mr. Golden mentioned earlier, we are having our Be Nice Summit tomorrow evening, 6:30 p.m. downtown, and I would like to invite you all to attend as we come together as a community to learn about bullying and prevent it. I dedicate a vast majority of my time to volunteering at my children's schools and participating in other community and charity events. Given the opportunity to be the District 4 School Board member, I will be a dedicated member of the board and will put forth all my effort to make Williamson County Schools even better. I greatly appreciate the time that many of you have given me over the past few weeks. In meeting with you, as well as Dr. Looney and his staff, I have learned a great deal about our goals as a county in academics, athletics, and the arts, charter schools, homeschooling, technology, school finance, state standards, and many more since I submitted my resume back in July. I was not the first to submit my resume, and as such, I sat down with my husband. We went through the pros and cons list, and we wanted to make sure that we were on board as a family, included with our children. The board has many big items on their agenda this upcoming year. Some of these items are preparing to open our 3 Nolensville schools in August of 2016, researching, evaluating, and finding solutions for our schools that are overcrowded due to ever-increasing growth, and ensuring our students are best prepared for the new TN Ready test, all the while being fiscally responsible with the budget money allocated to the schools by the county commissioners. It will not be an easy task. I did not sign up for easy. I signed up because I know that I can be a great public servant who will be an advocate for our students, not only in District 4, but for all of the districts in our great county. I look forward to the opportunity and challenge of being a Williamson County School Board member, and I am committed to run for the District 4 School Board seat in 2016. So as a candidate for the District 4 School Board seat, I stand before you this evening and ask for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, moving on, Commissioner Milligan.
Thank you for all the candidates who just spoke.
See y'all.
I want to tell you why I nominated Ms. McGrath. Before I do that,
Pull your mic around. Thank you.
sorry. Before I do that, I want to respond to something Mr. Kestner said. Mr. Kestner is a man I respect greatly. When I sit with him, he's the smartest guy in the room. But minds can disagree. I don't think this process was made controversial by a group called Williamson Strong. I think this was made controversial through the school board itself and through us watching the school board go through a painstakingly, at times clumsy process of approving a man's contract who's worked very hard for our county. And I said to somebody tonight, I'm going to try to offend everybody. If I do that, I've done my job. This was always going to be a controversial, contentious vote. It was. And I don't make a boogeyman out of a group called Williamson Strong. I read every email I got. Maybe half the emails came with a little insignia, and not all those agreed on what they were saying. I think it's an insult to the collective intellect of this group to say that we can be swayed by form emails. I think more highly of each one of you than that. I'm going to take Commissioner Danner and Commissioner Lawrence at their word. Their word was that they would set forth certain criteria. 1, that someone had a heart for education. 2, they were committed to running. Those are the criteria that they set forth originally. I'm going to hold them to that. The criteria may have changed. I'm going to hold them to that criteria. If PJ, God bless the man who's put up with a lot this year, decide to step down, and PJ, you'll hear about this, you better not do it. I would hope that each of you would do your job and exercise your wisdom if you thought there was a better candidate out there than one I put forward. I'm not worried about ego. I'm not worried about tradition. I'm worried about the people throughout the county, not just in one district. And I would hope you would hold me to that. But PJ's not going to step down, so that won't happen. I met for 2 hours with one of the candidates, the original nominee. And in 2 sentences I got from Ms. McGrath what that one candidate did not say in 2 hours. And it was a focus on the students. Ms. McGrath got up just now, and of the 3 who spoke, was the only one who didn't sling any mud towards our current school board. She was the one who spoke about students first. She was the one that didn't have to make excuses as to whether or not she will have time. We know she's had time. Why? She was a special education teacher. She volunteers at the school. She was a PTO president. She's had to deal with parents, angry parents, and angrier parents. And she's done it thanklessly, making at times a wage that, she could have made more somewhere else, and sometimes for free. She has a heart for our school. And I felt compelled after speaking to this woman to nominate her. Because of all the ones I spoke to, she's got the most skin in the game, and she's put in the most time for our schools. And so I'll vote for her tonight, and I would ask for you to vote for her too, but even if you don't, I ask you to vote for your conscience based upon who you talk to, you think is the best candidate. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Williams?
I think a reason we're having this discussion right now is because we realize that there have been some issues with the school board. I'm glad that there's some more nominees on the floor because honestly, I want to have some dialogue with my fellow commissioners. If you haven't spoken up already, I encourage you to do so because I think your opinions are important on this matter. A universal choice or universal truth in making decisions is the right time and the right place. And I think we all realize that there's some issues there where this decision is very important and we need to have those conversations. Just close with, when the candidates were made public in the way that they were, I think Commissioner Danner, Commissioner Lawrence invited the public's opinion in this decision process. And I think if we go and look at the communications that we've had, I think there's a couple of names that have come to the forefront from the public. And in my opinion, that needs to be considered in making this decision. So I'll close with that.
All right. Thank you. Commissioner Ford?
Mr. Chairman, don't we live in a great county? To have 3 so highly qualified applicants, any of whom I believe could do an excellent job. I think they all have their strengths. I've taken the time to meet with all 3 of them. I hope they each felt heard. I hope they each felt understood. I hope they each felt respected. I took the time to meet with the prior nominee. So I will be voting my conscience tonight. And we live in a great county. We live in a great country where we can have these kind of dialogues. The thing I would ask of us from a commission, the thing I would ask of us as a community, let's have the vote. Let's select the nominee. And then let's respect that person and let's give them a chance to do the job. Let's respect each other. Let's have our differences. Let's talk about our ideas. Let's not talk about personalities. I respect the opinions of everybody on this board. I don't know why you all would want to throw your name in the hat right now, but God bless you for doing it. And I really appreciate, and I'm so glad that we're so blessed by having so many people who are so engaged in this process. Just ask for some respect for the commission, respect for the members of the school board, and respect for members of the community. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Little?
I lost count at about 320 emails on this matter, but I went through and marked the ones from the 4th district that were identified from the 4th district that I could identify, either I knew or by their address or that they identified. And from those results, those to me, those are the people who are speaking up for their district. The other emails, while I appreciate their comments and I appreciate their opinions, this is the 4th District. And the vote that I cast is going to be what I have tallied from the emails that I can identify as being from the 4th District.
All right. Commissioner Smith?
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Point of order, weren't we doing a roll call vote when we got sidetracked? Is it possible to call the question?
You can call the question. And did we have a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor of calling the question signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Got one? All right. So you ready to vote? We'll start again.
Okay.
Ms. Anderson, go ahead.
Commissioner Osbrook. Commissioner Bain. Commissioner Bethard. Commissioner Shawfront. Commissioner Clark. Commissioner Danner. Commissioner Ford.
Chris Casaja.
Commissioner Green. Commissioner Herbert. Commissioner Hester. Commissioner Dwight Jones. Commissioner Ricky Jones. Commissioner Todd Kestner. Commissioner Landrum.
Just.
It just comes on. I have not had the opportunity to meet with 3
Okay.
candidates. I respect District 4 and their nominees. I like hearing from the other 2. At this point, and you won't hear this from me again, that's a promise. Since I have not directly met and had the time and input to work with this like I so choose, I would wish to abstain at this time, so I can have better knowledge to make a difference.
All right. Thank you.
Commissioner Marks.
Christopher Casati.
Commissioner Tommy Little.
And McGraw.
Commissioner Matt Milligan.
Jimmy Graff.
Commissioner Power.
And McGraw.
Commissioner Ryan. Commissioner Steve Smith.
And McGraw.
Commissioner Barb Sturgeon. Commissioner Jack Walton.
Ann McGraw.
Commissioner Paul Webb.
James McGrath.
Commissioner Matt Williams.
And McGraw.
Okay. We'll have to do it again. I've got Ann McGraw with 10 votes, Chris Kataja with 8, and Jane McGrath with 5.
One abstention.
And 1 abstention. Is that right? 15, 23, that's right. Is that what you got?
Yep. So we go through all 3 candidates again.
We don't make any changes until after 3 and then receive less than 4 votes. We just keep going.
So, Ms. Anderson, if you'll repeat.
I will. Commissioner Dana Osbrook. Commissioner Tom Bain.
And McGraw.
Commissioner Bethard.
And McGraw.
Commissioner Shawfont.
And McGraw.
Commissioner Clark.
Chris Casaja.
Commissioner Danner.
Christopher Casaja.
Commissioner Ford.
Chris Casaja.
Commissioner Green.
And McGraw.
Commissioner Herbert.
And McGraw.
Commissioner Hester.
And McGraw.
Commissioner Dwight Jones.
Chris Casaja.
Commissioner Ricky Jones.
McGrath.
Todd Kestner.
Chris Casaja.
Commissioner David Landrum. Okay. Commissioner Greg Larks.
Chris Casaja.
Commissioner Tommy Little.
And McGraw.
Commissioner Matt Milligan. Commissioner David Parr.
McGrath. McGrath.
Commissioner Brandon Ryan. Commissioner Steve Smith, Commissioner Barb Sturgeon, Commissioner Jack Walton,
Ann McGraw.
Commissioner Paul Webb, Commissioner Matt Williams. Thank you.
That round, I have Ann McGraw with 12 votes, Chris Kasaja with 8, and Jane McGrath with 2. So we'll do it one more time.
Did you count
The
pair?
Yeah.
Pair for McGraw?
McGraw, 13.
So that's 13.
We didn't get that one.
Got it, somebody's 13.
Makes 13.
So I come up with 13. So that, yeah. So we have a new school board member in Ann McGraw. Would you like to say something?
Break for committees.
Tonight?
I'll catch her at break.
Okay. You want to take a break?
Well,
do
it's
it
time to
take-
do the recess for the
Committees.
chair
Oh.
committees. We'll have to get in our paired districts, 1 and 2, 3 and 4.
Okay, we'll take a short recess. We need to get to our paired districts for our standing committees, rules, steering, human resources, and parks and rec. We'll meet back here 10 minutes. Well, we've already.
Do this, I've still got all mics muted, so you're gonna.
Uh, Next, I'll call on districts 1 and 2. And if you have a spokesman for each district, and we'll do a committee each time, like steering, and we're going to do steering first. Okay, committee 1, 2, 3, or 4, whoever's speaking for you. Who do you have on the steering committee? Oh, just 1 and 2.
Okay, on the steering is Dwight Jones.
3 and 4.
District 3 and 4 steering committee member.
Who was on steering last?
I'd be.
We didn't.
Matt'll do it.
Oh, gosh.
I'll do it.
I'll do Stu. Okay. Answer is no.
Y'all
Yeah.
do your homework.
5 and 6.
Paul Webb.
This is a new one.
Paul Webb.
Yeah, I
7 and 8.
Guys,
Mark. Steering. Okay. 9 and 10. Todd.
Yep.
11 and 12.
Steve Smith.
Okay. I've got, for the steering committee 2015-16, I have Commissioner Dwight Jones, Matt Milliken, Paul Webb, Bert Chalifant, Todd Kestner, Steve Smith. Motion to approve. Commissioner Little, Commissioner Ford, the second. All in favor of the steering committee signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the steering committee is next scheduled to meet on September 21st at 5 o'clock. So put that in your calendar. Yeah, anybody has any requests for committees, you need to let one of these people know so they can put you in the committee that you prefer. For rules. Next, we'll do Rules Committee, Districts 1 and 2.
For the Rules Committee, Betsy Hester.
All right, 3 and 4.
I'll take rules.
You'll take rules, Kathy.
What day was the meeting? To Monday.
5 and 6.
Jeff Ford.
Jeff Ford. All right, 7 and 8, Mark.
Tom Bain.
Tom Bain. 9 and 10,
I'll do it.
Sherry Clark. 11 and 12.
Dana Osbrooks.
All right. For the Rules Committee 2015-16, I have Commissioner Betsy Hester, Commissioner Kathy Danner, Jeff Ford, Tom Bain, Sherry Clark, and Dana Osbrooks.
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Little, second. Steve Smith. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And The Rules Committee is going to meet on 9/21 at 5:30, or immediately after the Steering Committee, so whichever comes first. Next, HR. Next, we'll do HR Committee, Districts 1 and 2. 3 and 4.
For the HR committee, Judy Herbert.
You want HR?
3 and 4.
I think I have to do that one because Greg did it last time.
I can do it.
Were you on that one last time, Greg? HR?
Okay.
So I guess I'll do.
Okay.
Okay.
David. 5 and 6.
Lou Green.
Lou. 7 and 8.
Jack Walton.
Okay. 9, 10.
Oh, yeah, I'll be on Human Resources.
Matt. 11 and 12.
Brian Bethard.
All right. HR Committee for 2015-16, I have Judy Herbert, David Pear, Lewis Green, Jack Walton, Matt Williams, Brian Bethard. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Paul Webb and Commissioner Milliken in the second. All in favor of the HR Committee signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Now we're at Parks and Rec. And they meet the third Monday at 5 o'clock. Parks and Rec Committee, Districts 1 and 2.
It will be Ricky Jones.
Districts 3 and 4. Greg. 5 and 6.
Tommy Little.
7, 8.
Barb Sturgis.
Barb. 9, 10.
Sherry Clark.
Sherry.
You've already got, it'd have to be
I can't be
David
on it because
Landrum.
of my rules.
Yeah, she's already on rules.
David Landrum.
You,
It has to be
you
Landry.
volunteered earlier for rules.
You want to swap? Would you rather do parks?
Oh, she's on rules.
I'll do rules, and that'll help me learn them.
All right.
Totally up to you.
It's fine, it's fine.
We've already approved
Already
those.
voted it.
Yeah, we've already
Da-
approved it.
David
So we
needs,
can't, so we can't.
David
Okay.
needs to be on Parks and Rec.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could reconsider.
11 and 12.
Brandon Ryan.
All right. Next, we have the 2015-16 Parks and Rec Committee. We have Ricky Jones, Greg Lawrence, Tommy Little, Barb Sturgeon, David Landrum, and Brandon Ryan. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Webb and Steve Smith, second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And Parks and Rec's confirmed, and they meet the first Tuesday at 5:30. So put that,
That would be October.
yeah, every month.
October.
Yeah, so it'll
First
be,
Tuesday in October.
yeah. All right, next we have the consent agenda, and I think only thing on the consent agenda is notaries.
Move for approval?
Second.
Commissioner Little, Commissioner Smith, second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Is it loaded? Oh, is it loaded on the machine? I'm sorry. So it's loaded on the machine. If you're in favor of the notaries, signify by pushing your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Kathy? Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
24 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Let me get caught up here. Next, we have a public hearing requested by the Planning Department, resolution of the Williamson County Board of Commissioners to adopt amendments to the Williamson County zoning ordinance originally adopted May 14th, 2012, regarding the length of time for temporary permits for the acceptance of fill material. I'll entertain a motion.
Move for approval.
Oh, I'm sorry. You don't have to get it on the floor first. Okay. So this is a public hearing. If you would like to come forward and speak to this, please come to the podium and state your name, and please give your address for the record. The public hearing is now open. Anyone wishing to come forward? I see none. We're going to close the public hearing. The public hearing's closed. Now, I'll entertain a motion.
Move for approval.
Commissioner Little.
Second.
Commissioner Kestner is a second. Christie, I'm going to call on you. Oh, Mike, to explain it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, Commissioners. The acceptance of fill material is listed as a temporary use in the county zoning ordinance. Recently, we noticed that this is the only temporary use for which there's not a duration for the validity of the approval of the permit. And so this text amendment simply adds a 6-month time frame as recommended by our engineering department. Staff recommends approval. At their May meeting, the Planning Commission voted to recommend approval as well.
Thank you, Mike. Any questions to Mike? I see none. You ready to vote? If you're in favor of Resolution 7-15-1, press your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
24 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Let's see. Oh, okay. All right, next we have another public hearing. Resolution 9-15-3, a resolution to amend the zoning ordinance text originally adopted May 14th, 2012, as it relates to rural retreat extensive uses. So now I'll open the public hearing. If you would like to speak to this, please come forward and state your name and your address.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, my name is Tom Moon. I live at 6251 Meeks Road, and if I ever thought about returning to this body after tonight, you've disabused me of that notion. I see it doesn't get any easier. I want to speak on this resolution. They're amending the ability to have special events on your property. I live on Meeks Road on a 300-acre farm for the past 30 years, and some will say I'm still a newcomer. And we've had a number of events there. We've had the Williamson County picnics, we've had fundraisers, we've hosted receptions, we've had weddings, and occasionally word would get to me that a young couple wanted to get married in the country, couldn't afford it, we would let them have it. But now with this resolution, there is a section in there that prohibits these events on a local road. Meeks Road is a local road. On the east, it's bordered by Arno Road, which nowadays is an arterial road, and on the west by Paytonsville Road, which is a collector road. And the question that I've asked staff and elected officials is, what is it about Meeks Road, a local road, that makes it prohibitive, a threat to the public welfare, the public safety, that doesn't occur on Arno Road? What is it about a local road that I can't continue having events there? Now, in the interest of full disclosure, there are loopholes, but I don't want to talk about the loopholes. I want to talk about my generic right to host events as I have in the past 30 years. For example, weddings. Compromise and say limit crowds to 200. Can we compromise? I've been willing to say we'll hire an off-duty deputy. There's got to be a way that we can continue to do this. And for 30 years, I have never had one complaint, and I've never collected any money for this. This is really we do it for the community. But now we're going to be stopped from doing it because we're on a local road, and for the life of me, no one can tell me why. That it's deemed against the public interest to do it on a local road when we've been doing it for 30 years. So I would ask you to amend this, send it back to the Planning Commission, and at least put some limitations on where we can all live together with it. We can compromise. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom.
Good evening, Ellie Westman Chen, 604 Tree Lawn Place here in Franklin. I'm here tonight to speak about rural retreats. As you are aware, tourism in our county continues to grow. We recently received our 2014 economic impact figures, and I'm happy to say that we increased our economic impact 6.6% over 2013. Southall Properties is proposing one large structure with 50 rooms plus additional 1 to 3 room cottages for a total of 78 to 80 rooms. When speaking with meeting and event planners about this type of rural retreat, the response has been that the threshold for the number of rooms to host corporate events and meetings would be in that range. At this time, Williamson County, nor really anywhere in Middle Tennessee, has an extensive rural retreat of this kind. This type of retreat will give the Convention and Visitors Bureau an opportunity to bid on these type of events. Thank you for your time.
Good evening. I'm Jonathan Oppenheimer. I live at 5405 Big East Fork Road, and adjacent to me is at 5375 is Big East Fork Retreat, which we've been growing for about 2-3 years now. And a lot of bicyclists come by. We've had small groups. We've had groups of theologians and pastors, and that's a very, very welcoming area. It's very quiet. It's quiet because it's not next to a main road or arterial road, and we've put rooms in there, and I think that might make it a day spa. And according to these regulations, all day spas have to not only be adjacent to a or you have to get to the day spa by using the arterial road or the collecting road, but it has to be located in a building that has at least 15 guest rooms. Now, why you would need a guest room to visit a day spa is beyond me, and why you'd want to be in a crowded street to have a relaxing experience when there's a 6-acre lake and woods and birds and bees to be relaxed by is also it's just not rational to me. So I would really appreciate you reconsidering and removing the criteria for 30 guest rooms being on the property that has a day spa, or I'm sorry, 15 rooms that needs to be in the same building as the day spa is, and also the criteria for the arterial collector roads to be used to access the retreat. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Last call. All right, the public hearing is now closed. Mike, you want to explain this? Yeah, let's get a motion. Commissioner Little, Commissioner Smith, second. All right. Go
Okay,
ahead, Mike.
thank you again, Mr. Chairman. I'll give a bit of background here. So in 2007, the county revised its zoning ordinance to add a rural retreat extensive use classification. And that classification allows for a limited range of commercial uses and activities to take place in areas that are otherwise strictly rural or residential in nature. Typical components of these uses are lodging facilities and also event venues that can be rented for weddings and other events. Based on our experience over the past 8 years in administering the zoning ordinance, and also based on feedback that we have received from elected officials and also citizens, we've sort of re-examined how we regulate these uses. Specific feedback has included concerns about the negative impacts such as traffic and noise that event venues can have on surrounding properties, the desire to maintain rural character in outlying areas, and then also, as you heard from one of the speakers tonight, a specific proposal for a rural retreat use that's located on a state route within the municipal growth area. This text amendment addresses rural retreat extensive uses in 3 primary ways. The first is that the amendment includes more stringent standards and establishes a higher level of scrutiny in the approval process for rural retreat extensive uses that do involve an event center as a component. And again, that's to address the negative impacts that are often associated with those kinds of uses. Secondly, the amendment places a definitive limit on the total number of guest accommodations that can occur, with a larger number of guest accommodations allowed in certain zoning districts that we feel are more suitable to larger uses, namely the Municipal Growth Area 1 district and the Leapers Fork Village zoning districts. And then finally, the amendment specifically now allows auxiliary restaurants and day spa uses to be a component of rural retreat extensive uses within those zoning districts. The staff recommendation is for approval. The Planning Commission recommendation was also for approval. I do want to clarify one point that one of the speakers made, and that is that we're not changing the way we regulate special events, the temporary event that takes place on property often. These would only, this amendment would only affect the permanent commercial use as an event center. There's a distinction. Property owners are allowed to get approval for up to, I think it's 15 special events per year without having to be on an arterial or collector road, and without having those other limitations placed on them. So that's a brief overview, and I'd be happy to answer questions.
All right. Any questions for Mike? Steve? Steve, do you have a question for Mike?
No.
Okay. I'll come back to you. Commissioner Danner?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mike, can you just clarify, you said there is not going to be any difference to the temporary special events. So in the case of former Commissioner Moon's weddings, then his weddings are not affected? He can continue to have weddings on his property?
That's correct. Mr. Moon does not currently have a rural retreat that's approved. He's been doing these events as special events, and we do have a mechanism for allowing up to 15 of those per year, again, without having to be on an arterial road, without having the other requirements that we're talking about in this particular proposal.
So, former Commissioner Moon, do you feel this needs to still be amended?
Do I have permission to speak, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I just want to be clear.
Okay. Yes, I do, because if I want to build a pavilion, it's going to cost a lot of money, where we can have weddings there on a regular basis to the extent that we have in the past. But I want to do it right, and I want to do it legally. I want to put in plumbing, gas, water, electricity, and put in a cement floor. But I can't. Now, as I said, there were loopholes. You can have 4 as a matter of right. You can have 15 by petitioning. But I can't, that's 19, but I can't have 21 because I live on a local road. If someone can explain the logic in that to me, I'd accept it.
And this
But
is,
I don't.
this is for we've got 2 different resolutions. One is for the rural retreats and one is for special events. So is this
I understand this is under the rural retreat.
under the rural retreat?
Is that correct?
Is it under special events? I'd like to make a motion to send it back to planning, but I don't know which one to send back. So are we doing?
Let me clarify, if I could, between the 2 resolutions. This resolution that's on the floor now deals with rural retreat extensive uses. That's a permanent commercial use of property. The subsequent resolution simply makes one minor, very minor change to the temporary event criteria that already exist, and it's a very, very subtle change.
Okay, so, so we are, based on what it sounds like he wants to do, is going to fall under the 915.3, the rural retreat, extensive use, because he wants to use it more than the 15 temporary times.
That's what I'm hearing, yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Commissioner Bain? No, I'm sorry, Commissioner Jones? Dwight Jones?
I guess explain to me the difference between Arnold Road, Meeks Road, Paytonsville Road, Cox Pike. I mean, give me some theology on you got 300 acres or 5 acres. To me, it don't matter.
Yeah.
If you can.
Well, the reason that we have in here that the event venues have to be on an arterial or collector road is that these event venues, and again, we're talking about permanent commercial event venues, tend to generate a lot of traffic at certain times. People tend to arrive at the same time and leave at the same time, and those larger collector and arterial roads are much better suited to handle the influx of traffic that are associated with those.
All right. Now, when you say temporary, when you say permanent, that's more than 15.
That is correct.
So if he has 16 cow pasture weddings, no shot at you, Mr. Moon, but because he don't have a permanent structure, that's illegal. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, I think that one way of saying it is that any property owner can have, I believe it's up to 19 special events during a calendar year where they don't fall under these regulations that we're talking about right now. But if you fall under these regulations, you're not limited at all in terms of the number of events. It could be every day. It could be twice a week.
I'm done. I'm sorry.
Okay. Commissioner Bain?
Mike, I was around several years ago when we were rezoning the county, and it's my remembrance that there were meetings all over the county, and the people who lived in those areas basically made their wishes known. Is that correct, as to what they wanted from zoning?
To a degree. When we did the new zoning ordinance, we had a series of public meetings and did get quite a bit of input.
That's right. So basically what's happened here is that the people who live in that area said, no, these are the rules, and now we got somebody wanting to change them. Is that correct?
Well, staff is proposing this particular amendment for a number of reasons, some of which are our experiences in other uses that are already taking place and the complaints that we've received. And then there has been a specific proposal for a new rural retreat that has prompted us to look at some aspects of this ordinance.
Has this been before planning? Is there a recommendation?
Yes, sir. The Planning Commission considered it at their July meeting and recommends approval of the amendment that's before you tonight.
All right. That's all.
Commissioner Paul Webb?
The question I think we're rolling around the same thing is, Mr. Moon was wanting to build a permanent structure, and once he does that, how does this resolution affect him if he builds that permanent structure he talked about?
I don't think it would. Mr. Moon or any other property owner, as I said earlier, is allowed to have up to 15 or in some circumstances even 19 temporary events per year that don't fall under these regulations. And whether that's within a pavilion or a temporary tent, I don't think it makes any difference, in terms of the regulations. So I don't believe that this would change what Mr. Moon has been doing in the past, because again, I think he's been doing that under the temporary events rather than as a rural retreat.
I understand this would be for the countywide, but he made a couple points that, coming from Brentwood, we're very strict about things, but out in the rural areas, I think Mr. Moon made a point that if he hired law enforcement to direct traffic on a sub-road that his farm is on, or if he agreed when he applied for the permit, because I'm assuming he's going to have to permit these other 15, is that correct?
If he goes the temporary event route, again, not the one that's subject to the regulations that are before us now, then he does have to get approval for each event, and there would be a provision for the larger events about traffic and making sure that works.
And these were discussed at the Planning Commission about hiring a deputy or limiting the number of participants at the event?
Well, only in association with the other set of regulations that deal with the temporary events.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Sturgeon?
Yeah, hi, Mike. Hey, you had said that planning had decided that rural retreats could only be in the municipal growth boundary and Leapers Fork. Is that right?
No, and I may have misspoken. Rural retreat extensive uses are allowed in a number of zoning districts. The distinction that I made is that within the Municipal Growth Area 1 district and the Leapers Fork Village district, you can have larger lodging facilities, and then you can also have auxiliary restaurant and day spa uses as a component of the use.
So then my question is what made you decide to allow it there and not, let's say, in Triune or Grassland Village or anywhere else in the county? Why is it only Leapers Fork and the municipal growth? Thank you.
Yeah, which those are the urban growth boundaries surrounding each municipality, by the way. So they're allowed everywhere, but again, the larger uses would be restricted to those two zoning districts. And the reason is that in the case of Leapers Fork, that's a commercial zoning district that has a tourism and lodging component to it already. And then in the case of the municipal growth area, the rationale is that those are areas that are immediately outside the municipalities, and therefore they're better situated in terms of services, and they're generally developed at a higher density than the more outlying rural areas of the county.
Well, what if another community decided they wanted to be part of the tourism business and they wanted to do it too? What would be the next step?
Well, a couple of things. One is that they could initiate a process to broaden the scope of uses in those areas. And then secondly, there are other areas that allow lodging facilities and tourism-related facilities, but they can do so as hotels or as other uses rather than these rural retreat uses that are intended, by their name and nature to be on larger properties and not in the heart of commercial areas.
Okay, thanks.
Commissioner Ricky Jones?
You said earlier this came from staff, right? It wasn't from citizens or anything else. It came from staff, correct?
Staff wrote the regulations in response to a number of things, and candidly, one of those things was a specific proposal for a rural retreat use, but that was just part of a number of other factors that we were looking at.
And if we go over 19 events, are you then going to consider that person a commercial? You said something about commercial. Where does it become commercial that you're going to have to go through all this?
It would be if you want to have more than 19 events, or if you wanted to have your events take place outdoors. So the circumstances where these regulations would kick in is if you wanted to have a permanent facility. You're not limited to just a certain number of events, but rather you want to have the ability to do this year-round and pretty much any day you wanted to.
And there would be more restrictions put on you and make it harder for you to do that if this regulation goes through.
Than currently exists?
And currently is.
In some ways, and it would be, but not in every way. It would be more restrictive in some ways, perhaps, but with respect to, for instance, the number of guest rooms in those two zoning districts that we talked about, that number would go up a little bit. So what we're trying to do is look at these standards and make changes where we think are necessary. And some of those result in a little tightening of the regulations, and some result in a little loosening of them.
Can you tell me what one thing or what spurred all this on, or one request?
There is a request for a rural retreat use located on Carter's Creek Pike.
Okay.
And that prompted some of these changes, but not all of them.
Okay.
Commissioner Ford?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think we've seen tonight that this has got some controversy, and that there is some question from a number of citizens. Generally, when these zoning requests come before us, we don't have anybody show up at the public comment. The fact that people show up at the public comment and speak to this tells me that this regulation is not quite ready for prime time. We've seen that if we take an action, we've seen the consequences of that by people having to be grandfathered in under previous actions. I'd suggest we send this back to staff, that we take into account the request from the citizens that we heard tonight, and that we ask them to draft it using those citizen requests and keep those in mind as they redraft this regulation. So I'd move that we table this and send back to staff for revision.
Second.
Yeah. Do what? I don't think you can table it after speaking.
Okay, I'd ask we defer it until after it comes back from staff.
Okay. Let's get Christie a legal opinion on that.
It would probably be best if it were just referred back to the Planning Commission, because it's going to have to be changed significantly, or at least substantively, rather. And any changes that are substantive, the Planning Commission is going to have to review and consider before it comes back to you anyway. They have to have a recommendation one way or the other before you can consider it. So you actually won't see this one again if there's changes made to it. You'll just see a different version of it.
Okay. Whatever the proper motion under the at where we are procedurally, I'd like to make that motion.
And that, Christie, what would that be?
A
Just send it
referral.
back to
It'll
Planning Commission?
I'd like to
Refer it back to
refer
Planning
this back to
Commission.
the Planning Commission
Okay.
for revision.
Proper motion, is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Smith, point of order.
We have a motion on the floor for rural retreats, and we've been talking about what Mr. Moon brought up, which is the special event facilities. We've gotten confused between two different resolutions, and the one on the floor is the one Ms. Westman Chin spoke to, which is the rural retreat. Now, if you're concerned about the drafting of the special events that Mr. Moon is affected by,
Concerned about this one.
well, I'm going to speak to that, if I may, Mr. Chairman.
All right.
The project involving the rural retreats is something I wish to speak to in the interest of promoting tourism, as Ms. Westman Chin spoke to. The research that we've done, she's the president and CEO of our Convention and Visitors Bureau. And the research we've done, an effective, profitable, financially viable operation that can host board retreats, corporate retreats, those sorts of things that we don't have in Middle Tennessee, and Williamson County would be perfect for, is 70 to 80 units. In the interest of, as a county commissioner, commercial tax base in the county, that's something that we long to have. We don't have very much. Most of the commercial tax base goes into the city limits. Now, this particular project on Carter's Creek Pike could put a bunch of homes out there, and we'd get residential tax base, which is all well and good. But the commercial tax revenue, if you look at the different proposals for that project, is tremendously more. We need commercial uses to be viable in the unincorporated county so that we can generate those tax revenues. For some reason, an arbitrary limit on number of units was set by the planning staff and commission at 50 units, which is right on the edge of financial viability for a project of this size. It has no relation to the size of the property. It has no relation to anything that we can determine. And I plan to offer an amendment, make a motion to amend this arbitrary cap of 50 to 80 units.
I'll second that.
We're not, that point of order.
Let's see, we've got a motion to refer it back to the planning commission. Can we add what Steve said?
Mr. Chairman, if I might, I'm all for the commercial use. Please don't misunderstand that I'm against a project for commercial use. I think all the appropriate commercial use in appropriate places in the county, I'm all for that. That's certainly not the intent here. This seems to place additional restrictions. So if we had a resolution that said, let's increase the 50 to 80 and that's all that did, I don't think we'd be here still talking about it. I think we'd be done and on to O'Charlie's or somewhere. But that's not what just this does. So if we want to make that one of the recommendations out of this body back to the planning commission, is that we increase that from 50 to 80, and we see that as a piece of that, I'm all for that.
Is that okay, Steve?
Okay. We can do it that way.
Let's see, we need a second on your motion.
Yeah.
We need
David
your
Perry.
motion to refer back to the planning commission to specify
With instruction.
that change to the
With
number.
instruction that that's one of the changes that they take a look at. I do think there's other problems. I think we've added additional restrictions on property owners that were not there before, and I'm very concerned about that. But I take Commissioner Smith's point that particular project is an important one for the county and for the tourism in this county.
Okay. And David, you're the second? All right. Got a proper motion and second. It's getting loaded in the machine.
Mr. Chairman, if I may have a question.
Yes.
To Commissioner Ford's in a roundabout way, but I guess it's more of a question for addressed to you as the chair. It's pretty clear, looking at this, that there's a lot of confusion surrounding this, and I'm assuming the next resolution, since they've been kind of paired together. From my understanding, you'll have to excuse my ignorance on this, is this didn't go through any of our committees. This simply came from the Planning Commission in front of the full board.
Yeah, never does.
And well, that's the question that I have for you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Is it possible that after it gets through the Planning Commission, that we have the opportunity to put it through a committee where we can really vet this? This is, I just didn't know how the rules would allow if after it gets to the Planning Commission to where we can then really sit inside of a conference room and really dissect this. There's clearly a lot of confusion over this, and we are dealing with property rights.
Yep, Christie.
I may need a little guidance from Jeff on the committee system. I think as far as in the past, let me back up. Traditional zoning ordinance amendments, however they're originated, go to the Planning Commission for recommendation, and then they come here for a vote up or down, or if it's amended, it's sent back down. Now, occasionally, when we have something that is a big change, for lack of a better phrase, we've sometimes sent it to a property committee, or just picked a committee that most closely resembled a committee on the county commission that might hear it to discuss it. If that's something that you all would like to do, and for this particular instance, we can consider that. I would just recommend that possibly happen before the Planning Commission, just in the sense that if what's drafted at the Planning Commission and then comes to a committee of the County Commission and you want to change it again, it's got to go back to the Planning Commission, but we can do it either way. It's if you're going to have an active discussion about particular issues in the document and the amendment, it'd be better to have that constructive discussion and then result in a final product that goes to Planning Commission after public hearing and then comes to you as a public hearing. But we can do it either way.
We've got a motion to send it back to the planning commission in a
Mr. Chairman, I want
second.
to make sure that my motion was clear because this does not, how it's written up here does not completely encapsulate. That's not the only issue that I want the planning commission to consider.
Have you got-
That's one of the
Yeah.
issues, but I'd like them to reconsider taking all of the public comment into account.
All right, have you got that, Jill?
Yes.
Right,
Follow up.
all right.
To clarify. If, Commissioner Ford, if you're talking about taking the public comment into account, Commissioner Moon is being affected by this next resolution.
I'm sorry,
No.
no, sir, I disagree with that. He's being affected by this because we are taking away his ability to build a structure because he is not on an arterial road. So in section C, point number 3, where it talks about a collector arterial road is identified in section 19, it would be affecting his property. Also in here, where it says in section IV of that same paragraph, it says all activities must be entirely within a fully enclosed building. That also places additional restrictions on this. If you've been to his property, you know it's a beautiful vista, and I would hate for people to not be able to enjoy the beautiful countryside of Williamson County. So there are specific things in here that are taking away his ability to be able to build the structure that he's wanting to build.
As a follow-up then, I would suggest that the next resolution also be sent back to the planning commission. And I'd make that motion.
Okay. Let's
Even
wait
though
till
it's
we
not
get-
on the floor.
Let's wait till we get it on the floor.
I will make it when that resolution.
The next one is really minor. It's really, we'll talk about it in a minute.
All right,
And Mr. Chairman, I'm perfectly fine with how that is represented at this point.
okay. Are you ready to vote?
To,
All right.
We're
voting to refer it back.
And Mr. Chairman, while we're talking about procedure, I'm perfectly fine with Christie's suggestion that it go back through a property committee or some committee of this body to keep the back and forth from going back to the planning commission to provide them some specific instructions from at least a committee of this body. So I'm fine, Christie, if that's the best approach to that.
If you all would like to see it in a committee setting before a final version gets to you or the planning commission, I would recommend that discussion in that setting rather than planning commission and then y'all and back. And because when the planning commission hears it, we have to advertise it and we have to have the public hearing. And as you all know, that takes a certain amount of time to even get it to the paper and all that good stuff. So without belaboring this for the next 6 to 9 months, that would probably be most efficient.
Okay. Commissioner Milligan?
Oh, yeah, I've long since waived my speaking time.
All right. Commissioner Hester?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted some clarification on collector or arterial road. Could we get a clear definition, please? What defines?
Yeah,
that
there
kind
is a
of road?
definition. I don't have it in front of me, but we'll make sure that we get that before you next time.
Okay, I yield. Then
All right.
thank you.
Commissioner Little? Let's see. Commissioner Kestner?
I really hate to ask this question. I've gotten confused. In my part of the county, we've got a lot of people, not a lot, we have some people conducting weddings for profit in barns, and codes and planning is kind of going after that. And I'm now looking at this table where we talk about rural retreat extensive use, and it's permitted in a rural preservation 5-acre basic. Do we have a risk of property owners saying, well, hey, you won't let me do these weddings for profit as a special event, but I can declare myself a rural retreat and get around it that way? I mean, do we have to coordinate and worry about people running commercial businesses in residential areas?
I don't think you have to worry about that. Most of the events you're talking about are the special event rather than the rural retreat, and they have to meet certain criteria for that as well. These standards for rural retreats are a little bit higher than that.
This
so
doesn't give them an end run around the...
It would not.
That's all I want to know. Thank you.
Okay. I believe we're clear. All right, ready to vote? If you're in favor of sending this back to the Planning Commission, signify by pushing your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
Okay, 23 yes, 1 no.
Resolution passes. All right, that'll go back to or the amendment. Send it back. Yes.
With the passage of that deferral, does that mean it will be going through the property committee, or do we have to make a
Well, the
motion?
property committee is designed for county property. So,
I'm just trying to see
Yeah.
how we can possibly, and if I may, Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry, but
Well, there's
just to
not a
avoid
process.
having another 2-hour conversation.
Yeah.
Where we can properly vet it within a committee and then bring it forth.
well, I mean, that's
Whether
the
it's-
job of the planning commission. So-
Yes, sir. Okay, thank you.
All right. Resolution 915-4, which is also a public hearing. A resolution to amend the zoning ordinance text originally adopted May 14th, 2012, as it relates to special events extensive impact. I'll open the public hearing. Anybody like to speak to this, please come forward and state your name and your address. So the public hearing is now open. Anyone wishing to speak? I see no one. Last call. All right, the public hearing's closed. I'll entertain a motion.
Move for approval.
Commissioner Little. Do I have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Allsbrooks, the second. Discussion, Mike?
Okay, thank you one last time. As Christy mentioned, this one is very minor in nature. You may remember about a year ago, you all approved an amendment to the special event criteria that one of the objectives, I should say, of that amendment was to specify that any event that involved artisan sales, which is the bringing out multiple vendors to sell on a property, would be considered an extensive event and would require a Board of Zoning Appeals approval. In looking at that, we didn't make the language quite as clear as we should have, and so all this amendment does is make clear what the intention was there, more precise language indicating that. Staff recommends approval and the Planning Commission recommends approval as well.
All right. Any discussion? I see none. You ready to vote? If you're in favor of Resolution 915-4, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
Okay, 23 yes, 1 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 915-5, resolution amending the 2015-16 Highway Department budget and appropriating up to $200,000 for replenishment of road salt revenues to come from unappropriated highway fund balance. Commissioner Green?
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Little, the second. Highway Commission, 5-4-0 against. Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
All right, thank you, Judy. Explanation, Commissioner Green.
I think it pretty well explains it in the resolution. But this is to replace the salt which we used last year, and it's 2,500 tons of salt. I think that's $80 a ton to replace what we used last year in preparation for the snows that are going to come this year.
Hopefully, we don't have to use it. Any discussion? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 915-5, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Greg? Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
24 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes.
Commissioner Walton, may I?
Yes.
May I make a motion to move the resolution, which is on the heel of the docket, 91533, to the next agenda item? Judge Taylor is here tonight.
Yeah, I was.
And he is here for that one
I apologize.
resolution, and I'd like for him to be clear of mind tomorrow as he takes the bench.
All right. And we have another judge here, or did, Judge Guffey, do you know which one your resolution was? Is she? Oh, do you know which resolution yours was?
The 91515, I believe, is the juvenile court.
9/15/15. Okay.
If it's okay with the other commissioners.
Yeah, if it's okay, we'll move resolution 9/15/33 up and then 9/15/15. It's not the only one. Okay. Resolution 9/15/33, resolution to levy an additional $55 court fee to be earmarked for the operation and maintenance of a Veterans Treatment Court Program. Commissioner Herbert?
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Milliken, the second. Law Enforcement Committee?
4-4-0 against.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Herbert.
This is an additional court fee of $55 for a drug court fee, and it's in addition to the $25 drug court fee, and it's earmarked for the newly created Veterans Treatment Court that I think Judge Taylor is starting up. And if anyone would, Judge Taylor, if you'd like to stand up and tell everyone a little bit about it.
Any questions? It's authorized by the legislature, and it's an additional $55, $50 to go into a line item for the Veterans Treatment Court to help pay for testing and treatment for veterans who are suffering from either mental, alcohol, or drug-related problems and that have landed them in general sessions court. The fee will come from court costs that are assessed against other criminal defendants. It's not an additional fee added on to folks that haven't been convicted of an offense.
All right. Any questions? I see none. You ready to vote?
I'm having a problem with the machine. It's going to the wrong resolution.
Because it's not an Apple product.
You want to voice vote it? Can we do that?
Except I don't know how to fix it for the next one, but.
Okay, well, you work on that. All in favor of resolution 9/15/33 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that resolution passes.
Thank
There
you all so very much. I appreciate it.
there you go, Judge.
We marked 24 yes.
Okay.
Hey, move it. That's just for me.
13.
That's your back.
Well, I'm out of control. Well said.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
we've got some people here to speak to several of these coming up, and I don't know that we want to shuffle the
Okay.
agenda to accommodate some without, that would just
Yes.
accommodate others.
Sure.
All right.
Put this one back and the 15 back.
I didn't get the right word out.
So the next resolution I have is 9/15/7. Is that correct? Are you good, Linda? With
956.
Kate?
Yes, this one is
Get the
good.
judge out of here.
It's good if this go as far.
Needs to go.
Okay.
All right. Resolution 9/15/7,
He doesn't.
resolution appropriating and amending the 2015-16 Office of Public Safety budget by $10,240 to fund a regional training workshop. Revenues to come from federal grant funds administered through the Tennessee Emergency Management Agency. Commissioner Little?
Move for approval.
Proper motion. Commissioner Bain, the second.
I need to offer an amendment.
Okay. Law Enforcement Committee?
4-4-0 against, I believe.
Okay. Budget Committee,
5-4-0 against.
Tommy, turn your mic on. Push it back. All right.
Lincoln.
Explanation, Commissioner Little, and you.
Well,
wanna
I'd like to offer an amendment.
Okay.
If you'll notice in the third whereas, it says the amount is 12,800, and we need to amend it in the title and in the revenue and expenditures to match that 12,800.
Is that just a typographical?
No, we need it amended.
Okay.
It's
Proper motion, and Commissioner Smith, the second. Any discussion on the amendment? It's loaded? Okay. We're voting on the amendment only. So to change it in the heading to $12,800,
And the expenditures and revenues.
also on the expenditure and revenue line item. If you're in favor, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
24 yes, 0 no.
All right, the amendment passes. So we're back to the main motion as amended. Any discussion? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 915-7 as amended, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
24 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 915-8, resolution appropriating and amending the 2015-16 General Sessions DUI Court budget by $246,945.32 for the DUI program revenues to come from federal pass-through state grant funds. Commissioner Little?
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Herbert, the second. Law Enforcement Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Little.
Yes, this is to move money that was not exhausted in the 2014-15 year from a grant into this budget year.
All right. Any discussion? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 915-8, push your yes button and confirm. Whoop, got ahead of you. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Greg? Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
24 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 915-9, resolution appropriating and amending the 2015-16 21st Drug Court Incorporated budget by $712.50, revenues to come from designated fund balance. Commissioner Little?
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Hester, the second. Law Enforcement Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Little.
Yes, these were drug funds, and I have to ask a question because I thought these were appropriated during the 14-15 year and were being carried over, but this in the resolution says it was the 15-16, and I don't know if that's a typo or if I misunderstood. In the third whereas.
I don't know who to ask.
It should be 14, 15.
Yeah, it should be. I think it's just a typo. I don't know if we need to amend it or not, but I thought it was the.
No, that's fine. It's these. The third whereas.
The third whereas,
14,
yes.
15.
But these are carryover funds from the 14-15 year to this year.
Good call, Tommy. Good. All right. Did you give us an explanation?
These are carryover funds for the drug court.
Past my bedtime. All right. Any discussion? I see none. You ready to vote? If you're in favor of 915-9, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
24 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 91510, resolution appropriating and amending the 2015-16 21st Drug Court Incorporated budget by $50,165.57. Revenues to come from DUI fines. Commissioner Little?
Move for approval.
Commissioner Dwight Jones, the second. Law Enforcement Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Little.
Again, this is another carryover from a different line item, but it's carrying over from last year to this year.
All right. Any discussion? I see none. You in favor of Resolution 91510, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
23 yes.
One abstention. One absent. Resolution 91511, resolution appropriating and amending the 2015-16 21st Drug Court Incorporated budget by $51,514.65. Revenues to come from dedicated account. Commissioner Little?
Move for approval.
Commissioner Smith, the second. Law Enforcement Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Little.
This is the same as before, but it is a separate line item that we're moving forward from last year to
All
this
right.
year.
Any discussion? I see none. You ready to vote? If you're in favor of 91511, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote? Greg, yours didn't take. Do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
24 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 91512, resolution appropriating and amending the 2015-16 county general budget by $87,667.26. Revenues to come from victim assessment fees. Commissioner Little?
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Hester, the second. Law Enforcement Committee?
4-4-0 against.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Little.
This is another one that is carrying over from last year's budget to this year's.
Okay. Any discussion? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 91512, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wish, Jerry, yours didn't take. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
24 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 91513, resolution appropriating and amending the 2015-16 General Sessions DUI Court budget by $32,165.34 for the DUI program. Revenues to come from federal through state grant funds. Commissioner Little?
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Herbert, the second. Law Enforcement Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Little.
This is another carryover from last year.
All right. Any discussion? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 91513, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change the vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
24 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 91514, resolution accepting a donation from the DUI Court Foundation of Williamson County Incorporated and appropriating and amending the 2015-16 Williamson County General Sessions Court budget by $16,226.82. Revenues to come from donation. Commissioner Little?
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Herbert, the second. Explanation, Commissioner, Law Enforcement Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Little.
Yes, this is a donation from the DUI Court Foundation going to the DUI courts.
Okay, any discussion? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 91514, push your yes button.
No, we need to vote voice vote because the machine is not picking up the right resolution.
Oh, okay.
It went back to number 12. Even though she's telling
It tells us it's already
14,
been
but
processed.
It's going to,
So we'll voice vote.
yes, unless there's any objection.
All in favor of Resolution 91514, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And 9 passes.
It's saying that they've been processed.
We're going to voice vote.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have technical difficulties, so we're going to voice vote throughout the rest of the night. Resolution 91515.
Technically, you can't do that. Appropriations have to be roll call or recorded vote. You can't do a voice vote on them.
Well, if you do a voice vote and somebody votes no, that's a recorded vote.
You would have to go through a roll call if it's not unanimous. It's questionable whether or not a voice vote is. Your rules say that appropriation has to be by roll call. You consider the electronic to be roll call. I would think that you would have to ask.
Well, if you want to take a 3 to 5 minute
take a
recess and
break.
see if we can get it fixed.
Let's take about a 3 to 5 minute recess and see if we can get it fixed.
else you got in there? Councils and pass. Okay, last one. So we're gonna start with number 14.
You're
No,
gonna go back to 14.
15.
14 passed.
14 passed
And it's gonna show
on
24
there.
to nothing. No,
So
it was a
we're
voice
okay.
vote.
Okay, so we're gonna be ready for number 15, but we gotta have a roll call vote first, because she reloaded in a new agenda, just like we just opened.
So push your present button, then we're gonna start.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, if everybody take their seat. We've reloaded the machine, so now what we have to do, if you're here, push your present button and confirm. Are you ready, Linda?
Well, where'd the 3rd district go?
Northern's gone.
Jack, are we starting at the top of the agenda going all the way?
Yeah. Can you call those school board candidates back?
Yeah, let's see if we can.
And Tom Moon.
We're here till 3 o'clock.
Yeah, we'll wait on them.
Kathy, confirm.
Kathy, confirm.
I don't know
Confirm.
where Tara
Do it again. Thank you.
went. Milligan did.
So where is the 3rd district left?
Matt said he had to leave. David Pear, I didn't talk to him.
I don't know.
No, he's
Bubba.
coming. Hold on.
Pear's
David's coming up the hall.
Bubba had to leave, so he's gone. So you're down to 22.
Yeah. There's Dwight.
Yeah, he's coming. Did Matt leave too? Do you know?
Matt
Yeah,
left.
Matt
He
left.
said he was leaving. Babysitter was already texting him. Babysitter's mother was texting him madder than hell.
Oh my God. It is a school night.
Yep. Solid food. Last time you get a babysitter, it has to be home by 10 o'clock.
Yeah, really.
Okay.
Okay, you got it.
All right, so we're good.
Now you're
All
gonna
right,
go to 15.
next we
Call
got,
us to order and let her record the vote.
okay, record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
They're not listening.
Present.
Oh.
Say 22 present.
The what?
22 present.
22 present.
Oh, 22 present.
22
Excuse me.
present. Resolution 91515.
For all these people wanting to speak. Tom, did you want to speak? Did you push your request to speak button?
Yeah, I didn't mean to.
I thought it didn't.
Brian, did you? Kathy, were you trying to speak?
What's the score, Ricky?
No scores. Okay, thank you. I'll
Okay.
shut my phone off.
Okay,
Ready for resolution 15.
we're ready for resolution 91515. Resolution appropriating and amending the 2015-16 juvenile services budget by $16,511.87. Revenues to come from federal through state grant funds. Commissioner Little?
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Hester, the second. Law Enforcement Committee,
5-4 against.
Budget Committee,
5-4-0 against.
explanation, Commissioner Little.
Again, this is carryover of unspent grant funds.
All right. If you're in favor of resolution 91515, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote. No, wait a minute, Greg. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson. Resolution passes. Resolution 91518, resolution appropriating and amending the 2015-16 Sheriff's Office budget by $33,500, revenues to come from fund balance. Commissioner Little?
Move for approval.
Commissioner Smith, the second. Law Enforcement Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Little.
Yes, this is a fee collected from attending participants that they want to utilize for range repairs.
All right. Any discussion? See none. In favor of resolution 91518, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes.
Resolution passes. Resolution 91519, resolution transferring $46,717 between major categories of the 2015-16 Williamson County Sheriff's Office budget. Commissioner Little?
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Lawrence, the second. Huh? Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Green, the second. Law Enforcement Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Little.
Yes, they are shifting funds from the detention salary to the field salary. They have changed, realigned personnel, and they are realigning the funds.
All right. Any discussion? See none. If you're in favor of Resolution 91519, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Greg? Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes.
Resolution passes. Resolution 91520, resolution accepting a donation of $5,000 from the Brentwood Police Department to be used for maintenance of the Sheriff's Office gun range and appropriating and amending the 2015-16 Williamson County Sheriff's Office budget by $5,000, revenues to come from donations. Commissioner Little?
Move for approval.
Second.
Who was my second? Oh, Commissioner Webb. Law Enforcement Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Little.
Yes, the Brentwood Police Department uses our range, and they have made a donation to the range. I think they do it every year to use for maintenance at the range, gun range.
All right. Any discussion? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 91520, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Betsy? Betsy?
Sorry.
Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes.
Resolution passes. Resolution 91522, resolution appropriating and amending the 2015-16 Williamson County Sheriff's Office budget by $8,065 and accepting a donation for the Williamson County Sheriff's Office, revenues to come from unappropriated county general funds. Commissioner Little?
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Webb? Second. Law Enforcement Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Little.
Yes, these were funds that were donated, and I believe they were donated during the 14-15 year, and they're being carried over to be expended this year.
All righty. Any discussion? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 91522, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 91524, resolution accepting a donation of $48,211 from PetSmart's charity on behalf of the Williamson County Animal Control and Adoption Center and appropriating and amending the 2015-16 Williamson County Animal Control budget by $48,211 and appropriating the related operating transfers, revenues to come from donations. Commissioner Smith?
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Alsbrooks, the second. Property Committee?
5 yes, 0 no.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Smith.
This is a donation from PetSmart to the Animal Control Center.
All right. And this work has already been done, I understand.
They're in the middle of doing it.
Okay.
I think the reveal will be this Friday.
This is called,
Meow Manor.
you know, can you say that again? Any discussion? If you're in favor of Resolution 91524, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Lou? Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes.
Resolution passes. Resolution 9-15-25, resolution appropriating and amending the 2015-16 library budget by $77,928.64. Revenues to come from miscellaneous donations. Commissioner Green?
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Little, the second. Library Board?
Library Board, 6-4-0 against.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Green.
There's funds were not spent during the past fiscal year, moving into this year.
All right. Any discussion? See none. If you're in favor of resolution 9-15-25, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 9-15-26, resolution appropriating and amending the 2015-16 library budget by $8,200, revenues to come from library fines. Commissioner Green?
Move for approval. Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Little, the second. Library Board?
Library Board, 6-4-0 against.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Green.
These were funds that we did not anticipate when we put the budget together for $8,200 worth of library fines.
Any discussion? I see none. If you're in favor of resolution 9-15-26, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Barb, here we go. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
Okay. 22 yes.
Resolution passes. Resolution 9-15-27, resolution appropriating and amending the 2015-16 library budget by $18,415, revenues to come from miscellaneous donations. Commissioner Green?
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Little, the second. Library Board?
Library Board, 6-4-0 against.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Green.
These were funds for revenues from the memorials that we did not anticipate in preparing this year's budget, and this will utilize them in this year to buy library books and other supplies.
Any discussion? I see none. If you're in favor of resolution 9-15-27, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 9-15-34, resolution authorizing the Williamson County Mayor to enter into an agreement with the State of Tennessee, Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, and appropriating and amending the 2015-16 Engineering Department budget by $500. Commissioner Herbert?
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Little, the second. Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Herbert.
This is a $500 grant that we received, the county received from the state, and it's to purchase equipment and supplies to be used to clean up the streams and trash removal along the Harpeth River.
All right. Any discussion? I see none. If you're in favor of resolution 9-15-34, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 9-15-35, resolution appropriating and amending the 2015-16 assessor's budget by $5,750 for educational incentive salaries, supplements, revenues to come from state funds. Commissioner Herbert?
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Little, the second. Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Herbert.
This is salary supplements to the assessors of property and deputies where they have continued their education and it is paid for by the state.
All right. Any discussion? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 9-1535, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 9-1536, a resolution authorizing the issuance, sale, and payment of county district school bonds of Williamson County, Tennessee, in an aggregate principal amount of not to exceed $5,200,000 and providing for the levy of taxes for the payment of debt service on the bonds. Commissioner Herbert?
Move for approval.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Herbert.
This is for issuance and payment of the county school bonds for the purpose of financing the capital repair and maintenance and improvement projects for the county K-8 schools. These were the ones we approved in July.
Okay. Any discussion? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 9-1536, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm.
22 yes, 0 no.
Resolution 9-1537, an additional resolution authorizing the issuance of up to $21,700,000 of general obligation school and public improvement bonds of Williamson County, Tennessee. Herbert?
Move for approval.
Second. Little the second. Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against. This is more bonds for the purpose of financing capital needs, repair and maintenance for some of the county high schools, and also for some of the county facilities as property management, sheriff, public safety, parks and recs, and animal control. And these were ones that we approved in July also.
Any discussion? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 9-1537, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 9-1538, a resolution authorizing the issuance, sale, and payment of general obligation school and public improvement bonds of Williamson County, Tennessee, in an aggregate principal amount of not to exceed $21,700,000, and providing for the levy of taxes for the payment of debt service on the bonds. Commissioner Herbert?
Move for approval.
Commissioner Little, the second. Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Herbert.
This is for the payment of the debt service for the previous resolution.
All right. Any questions? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 9-1538, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm.
Commissioner Lawrence?
Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
Okay. 22 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 9-1539, resolution authorizing the Williamson County Mayor to initiate a request for proposals from qualified organizations and to contract for the provisions of an impact study to be determined the need for future capital funding and public improvements and appropriating and amending the 2015-16 County Commission budget by up to $100,000 for said study. Revenues to come from unappropriated county general fund balance. Who's that, Commissioner Kestner?
Move for approval.
Commissioner Little, the second. Explanation, Commissioner Kestner.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a resolution, as it is pretty self-explanatory, to begin a study. As we all know, we're going through some extreme growth, and in the final whereas, it summarizes that we're really looking to determine future needs for public facilities, infrastructure, and funding. You know, you've heard many, many times from many people, including our own planning staff, that our population is going to double in 15 years, or it's going to double in 20 years, or some such number. And those are pretty staggering numbers to consider. If you think about if the population doubles, we may have our student population double. And if our student population doubles, that's another 36,000 kids. At current levels of expense, capital expense, such as we have at Nolensville, that'd be $25,000 per kid. 36,000 times 25,000, that's $900 million. Now, you know, do I look forward to borrowing $900 million? No, I hope we don't have to. But we need to really understand where we think we're going, and not just over the next 20 years, but really what does it look like 5 years out? What's it look like 10 years out? What are the implications on our roads? As you know, we also have a reappraisal that's going to happen in 2016, and we need to have a context of understanding to help us think through what the impacts of that reappraisal are going to be. You know, we have the study is really also necessary to help us retain our AAA bond rating, which I think is an essential element of continuing to be able to hold down our interest costs and hold down our taxes.
Commissioner Danner?
I'm excited about having this study done, but I'm just going to ask, and I'm not sure if I just ask you, Commissioner Kestner, or staff, to be copied, and I don't know if any other commissioners would like to be copied as well, but I have some questions about this, and but I'm fine with it as long as I'd like to be copied on the RFP process so that I can see how the scope is defined.
Sure. I think Mayor Anderson is going to speak to this a little bit, and I would also say that I think the $100,000, we think the $100,000 is an outside number. We're just trying to have room to be able to do this, but this is not some 14-page white paper that gets done in 30 days and we all get a copy. This is really a much more comprehensive exercise, and there are consultants nationally reputed consultants who specialize in this sort of thing. And again, it's the sort of study and sort of information that we need to help Standard & Poor's and Moody's and others, you know, understand what we're looking like, you know, 5, 10, 15, 20 years out. Mayor?
Mayor?
Mr. Chairman and Commission, one of the discussions we had at the Budget Committee is when we're drafting up this request for proposal from these different groups, who are they going to present that to? And to Commissioner Danner's comments, what are we going to ask for? And so in preparing for that, we will do, Leslie Mitchell will actually handling the drafting of the wordage on this. However, what I would like to do is ask that we have a task study, and I propose that the task study may be made up of the current budget year, the ones that are rolling off. That'd be Commissioner Herbert, Mr. Webb, Lou, and Commissioner Kestner, and myself, that we would put the verbiage together with this, directing whoever chooses to bid on this, and then those would come back to us. We would look at those, and we would present that back to this county commission body once all that study is completed. To go to your question, you're certainly welcome to see the request for the proposal, but also I'll ask Diane to put together a monthly update from whoever's fortunate enough to get the business. We'll have a prescribed time that once a month or once a 6 weeks, whatever that is, we'll lock that in, that they come back in and give us a status update. It is my direction. Commissioner Webb made a good comment during the budget processes that let's take our time, let's do it right. We want to do that, but we also want to dovetail this thing, as Commissioner Kestner has said, to coincide with our reappraisal year that we're having next year too. So I'm hoping that we can get this done, back out, and get back to us for your all's approval somewhere in the May area, which is about the time our reappraisal will come out. I might put a caveat on this too, is that you are certainly welcome to attend. All these meetings will be published for them to make their presentation, but we'll also invite staff. We've already engaged, like the Joe Horns upstairs on the 4th floor. We'll engage the school personnel. We'll engage the court system. I would like the sheriff to come. We'll get a judge there, because we need to look and see this long-term vision of what it's going to cost us to do business here in 5 and 10 years. optimistic we can get that done for the figure that you said, but by the same token, I don't know that going out much past 10 years serves us any purpose other than just to get some numbers of just getting some raw numbers, because we're moving and growing so fast. So that's the purpose of it. And if you all vote in the affirmative to this, we'll start working on this just as soon as we can, which will be this week.
All right. Commissioner Ford?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My question's been pretty much answered. My question was around, this body will be responsible for implementing this report. So whatever comes back from an infrastructure need will come back through this body. So I was going to ask the role of this body in preparation and analyzing of this report up front, and I think that's pretty much been answered, so I'm satisfied.
All right.
Thank you.
Commissioner Ryan?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mayor, if I may, one more question. Like Commissioner Ford, I think most of the questions that I had have been answered. So the timeline we're looking at is May of next year?
Well, I'm saying that standing up here in front
Ideally.
of you. It's my desire to have that back in May. We may get it back sooner. They may ask for another month longer, depending on the scope of what we're asking someone to do.
Sure. Do you envision using this as forming an eventual task force where the planning commission's involved, that other departments like you were talking about, so we can actually implement an overall plan in terms of
This is
handling our
more
growth?
about the funding side.
Yes, sir, I understand that, but in terms of if this is funded, is that where you foresee this going?
Sure. The sheriff can tell you that for the last year, we've been trying to figure out how to handle some of these court cases that are going on. If you that are involved in the court side understand how packed that is over there and the workload. But if our community grows, for an example, just like schools, what are we going to do? Where are we going to locate this? And what is this going to cost us? The jail is another area of that. As our population grows, unfortunately, we have more people that like to visit the sheriff and his department down there. And how are we going to do that? That jail is approaching for a few, Bert Chalfont, myself, and a few others, it's approaching a 30-year life. And so it's time to do another one of these studies and try to get our handle around some of this growth and how do we pay for all this. But to answer your question, we'll move on as quick as we can.
No, I understand, and I appreciate that. I just, I think it's money well spent. It is a lot of money. I just want to make sure that we have a plan to implement it rather than being filed away.
Commissioner Sturgeon?
Yeah. I don't know if is this on? Okay. I'm wondering if one of the products of this study would be a report that shows what our debt is, how it's rolling off, how we're paying it off, and a projection on how much we would have to take on if we had no other revenue sources.
The two gentlemen in the back, they can certainly help me on that. We've got Stevens and Bassberry and Sims representing us on our bond council. They provide for us every year a debt roll-off payout, as you were talking about, but on future money, I guess they could do some forecasting for us, but there's no way you're going to lock it in, and because it depends on when you borrow that money. But they can certainly be very helpful in that.
Is there any report already existing?
I don't think they've turned anything in this year, have they? A year-end report on the debt? Okay, they'll bring it in October. See how quick they work?
So all the commissioners will get a copy of that?
Every year we give that.
All right, thank you.
Any other discussion? I see none. You ready to vote? If you're in favor of Resolution 9-1539, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 9-15-6, a resolution declaring a service weapon surplus to be awarded in recognition of service as a Williamson County Sheriff's Deputy. Commissioner Little?
Move for approval. Second.
Commissioner Smith, the second. Property Committee?
5 yes, 0 no.
Law Enforcement Committee?
5 yes, 0 no.
Budget Committee,
5-4-0 against.
explanation, Commissioner Little.
Yes, this is to retire Lieutenant Phillips' service weapon and then present it to him, declare it surplus so it can be presented to him at his retirement.
Okay. Any discussion? Where? Commissioner Lantham? No. Oh, okay.
Didn't mean to.
You ready to vote? If you're in favor of Resolution 915-6, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 915-16, a resolution authorizing the Williamson County Mayor to enter into a grant agreement with the State of Tennessee Department of Children's Services for reimbursement of housing juveniles in the Williamson County Juvenile Detention Facility. Commissioner Little?
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Webb. Explanation, Law Enforcement Committee,
5-4-0 against.
Budget Committee,
5-4-0 against.
explanation, Commissioner Little.
Yes, this is to enter into an agreement with the state for housing juvenile detentions, and it'll pay $132.38 per child, not to exceed $144,956.10.
All right. Any discussion? I see none. You ready to vote? If you're in favor of 915-16, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Greg? Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 915-17, resolution accepting a donation on behalf of the Williamson County Sheriff's Office of K-9 cooling vest received from Jeffrey Robert Pendergast. I hope I didn't Pendergast. Whatever. What y'all said. Commissioner Little?
Move for approval.
Law Enforcement Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Second. Law Enforcement Committee, 5-4-0 against. Budget Committee,
5-4-0 against.
explanation, Commissioner Webb.
I don't have an explanation.
Little.
A little, I'm sorry.
It is late.
I am getting tired.
Mr. Prendergrass is an 11-year-old who has raised these funds to provide a cooling vest for one of our K-9 units, and this is to accept that donation.
Very good. Sheriff, I don't guess he's here, is he? Yeah. Commissioner Hester?
Yield, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Ready to vote? All in favor of Resolution 915-17, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Greg? Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 915-21, resolution authorizing the Williamson County Mayor to enter into a cooperative agreement with the United States Department of Justice Drug Enforcement Administration. Commissioner Little?
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Webb? Law Enforcement Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Little?
Basically what it says, it's give the mayor permission to enter into an agreement for us to do joint operations with the Justice Drug Enforcement.
All right. Any discussion? See none. If you're in favor of 915-21, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes, 0 no.
Resolution authorizing the Williamson County Mayor to enter into an interlocal agreement with the 21st Judicial District Drug Task Force. Commissioner Little,
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Webb, second. Law Enforcement Committee,
5-4-0 against.
Budget Committee,
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Little.
This is basically the same thing, the interlocal agreement with the 21st Judicial Task Force for joint operations.
All right. Any discussion? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 9-15-23, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Sanders. Whoop, Lou?
Mr. Green? 22 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 9-15-28, resolution declaring certain Williamson County-owned property and equipment surplus property and authorizing the sale of the property and equipment. Commissioner Smith?
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Osbrooks, the second. Property Committee?
5 yes, 0 no.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Smith.
This is just something we do on a fairly regular basis every year or so. We've got surplus equipment from the Highway Department and various other departments that, once it's declared surplus, it can be disposed of.
All right, and this auction sale is October the 3rd. Any discussion? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 9-15-28, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Sanders.
22 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 9-15-29, resolution declaring certain Williamson County-owned property and equipment surplus property and authorizing the sale of the property and equipment. Commissioner Smith?
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Osbrooks, the second. Highway Commission, 5-4-0 against as amended. Property Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Judy, you want to make this amendment? It's on the bottom. It's on the bottom of the,
Okay, I want to make an amendment that the money from the sale of this equipment will be designated to the highway fund balance.
Second.
Proper motion, Commissioner Smith, the second. Getting it loaded.
This is not an appropriation. You can voice vote this.
We can voice vote it, Linda.
We can do it if you want.
Well, how long is some place it can go, so an amendment wasn't needed, but Stan was gonna make sure we had it. Too much money.
Okay.
Ready? Y'all ready to vote on the amendment? If you're in favor of the amendment, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Sherry? Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
21 yes, 1 no.
Amendment passes. Now we're back to the main resolution as amended. Any discussion?
We have to vote that as amended, I'm sorry.
Okay.
over in the class.
Yeah, that's all right. We're ready?
As amended.
All right, we're voting on Resolution 9-1529 as amended. If you're in favor of resolution, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 9-1530. Resolution authorizing the Williamson County Mayor to grant an easement to Middle Tennessee Electric Membership Corporation. Commissioner Smith?
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Osbrooks, the second. Property Committee?
5 yes, 0 no.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Smith.
This is simply an easement agreement to allow Middle Tennessee Electric access for installation and service of power lines on county property.
Okay, and I think there was a map on our, on your desk, yeah. Any discussion? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 9-1530, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Now, this is the resolution we were looking for. Resolution 9-1531, resolution amending certain road links in Whitehall Farm subdivision located off Del Rio Pike to reflect the actual length of the road. Commissioner Herbert?
Move for approval.
Commissioner Little, the second. Highway Commission, 5-4-0 against. Explanation, Commissioner Herbert.
This is to amend the road lengths, so we would only accept the completed portion of the roads that were
Alrighty.
completed.
Any discussion? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 9-1531, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm.
Oh my God, I didn't think it ever did.
Tom? Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
21 yes. And 1 abstain.
All right. This concludes our agenda. If there's no further business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
We've already agreed everything.
Not as long as some of them we've had.